Okay, sorry. Sorry, everybody. How's that? How's that? Shibadoo. Shibadoo. There we go. Cat's mom. Ran. Amber. What's going on? Diva. Chrissy. Um, Thank y'all, everybody. Oh, wait, let me mute myself over here. Sorry about that, y'all. I forget to I reset the computer and I didn't open the program that makes the sound come out. But I was saying good morning. Thank you, Shanna, for the gifted memberships. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Good morning, Tux. Good morning, Sofa Squad. So we're on day 12. So just before we even get started, I'm not going to be streaming the afternoon session because I got a bunch of stuff to do and a physical therapy appointment and all that type stuff. And I know, right, Montana. And so we won't be doing that, but we'll meet back up this evening to do our live chat and kind of talk about this, the jury selection going on, and a couple of other trials that are rumbling beneath the surface and where that's out, and where that's at. And so there's that. So that's what we'll do. And yeah, so that's where we're at. So we'll see how this goes. I don't know who's going to be on the stand this morning. It'll be a fresh witness. I'm imagining it's somebody from Women and Infants. So we'll see. Hey, Catherine. Hey, Van Life. What's going on? Katie Cat. Death Call. Marie. I think it's going to be someone like that. I think that we probably still have several days of the state questioning people, to be honest. I'm very ready for that to be over. And move on. Also, send good energy to Tori. She is having some things done today. So we're hoping that she will get through that good. And I'm just reading some stuff over here. Okay. There's that. I'm just reading messages over here. Shibidi-bidoo. Oh, I hope your head's feeling better, Tux. Okay, is she? Wait, hold on. Thank you, Brenda, for the super chat. Hold on, is she bipolar? Now that would answer my question. She's been in mental health for like 2 years. Was she diagnosed since the event? I would like to know that too. Does anybody know what she's been diagnosed with now? I can't remember. Yeah, Audra's still in the men too. She'll probably pop in. She's been kind of doing that and checking in and whatnot. So hopefully she's doing well and all's going good with her. Mm-hmm. Good morning, Life with Serve 21. How are you doing? I hope you're well. I'm just reading comments right now. Thank y'all. Now I know they'll be happy to hear that. Oh, happy birthday to who was that? To JL Man. Is it one of somebody's birthday for you? So happy birthday to him. Yeah, I'll be curious to see where the jury goes. Like we talked about last night, I just feel like it's so heavy with the timeline of this medication here and this appointment and this doctor and then over here and blah, 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 and all this stuff. So I'm very curious how the jury is interpreting that, right? Because now we've gotten into the part of the trial that's the biggest. One of the things that I think is, I don't even know how you would say this, unfortunate or whatever, is just how much time the state spent on the front half, right? Trying to prove, even though they said, we're not trying to say that the unaliving attempts were faked, but they spent a lot of time on that, on just random people coming up to testify that she's normal. She made, regular decisions, right? And I understand some of it, but it was just so heavy on all that now that we're getting into where I think the trial resonates, which is doctors, medications, Lindsay's state of mind, et cetera, it's like heavy on the front end of the trial, and we still haven't even gotten to the defense, right? So that's where it's like, oh my god, oh, it's your kiddo's first day of school, Lulu? Yeah, it's my cousin's cousin, my cousin's daughter's my second cousin, I guess, is her first day, 6th grade. So big day, and at where she's at, they do. So when I grew up, middle school was 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Like you went to a different like part of the school for those 3 grades. And high school was 9, 10, 11, 12, and that was a completely different school. And then primary was, where was that? Primary was 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, 7th or so. K through 4 was at a different school. 6 through 8 was at a different school. 9 through 12 was at a different school. That's right. So 3 different schools. I'm just trying to get it right. But anyways, her school is, when you're in 6th grade, you're at the top of like primary, what I would call primary school, right? And then 7th and 8th and 9th is like more like what I would call middle school. And then the rest of it is high school. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's just different. Went to a K through 12 school, elementary in one building, middle. Yep. Now I don't know if y'all can hear it, but the lawmen are here today, so there's going to be that kind of noise going on. Know that. So just be aware. Just be aware. You might hear that. You might hear that. Mm-hmm. Okay, hold on. Round. I just heard the thing. Okay, now y'all, I'm gonna put this in here. So Matt went on a long 3-day, where'd y'all go? Binge, if you will. And he completely redid my website. And I'm dropping it in the thing. I don't know if it'll work. So it has all the stuff there. He freshened up the merch store, but that website's the hub for all 3 channels, all what do you call that? Social media, the store, you name it, right? And he fixed my branding like across all the channels, and he's getting it all just squared away. So he did a really good job. I was like, holy McMoly. So check it out when you can. And there's also new merch in the store. I have some of it being sent to me, so I'm waiting to put some of it out. So I'll show that when I get it. But the other stuff that I already am like confident with, I guess you could say, he kind of refreshed stuff or whatever. To just do that. So hey, M3, I hope you're doing well. Thank you, Irish Luna Fairy. Yeah, I was really proud of him. He did really good. Thanks, J-Man. I appreciate it. So yeah, it was really nice of him. Thanks. Yeah, I'll let him know. Yeah, I was like, wow. So he's been studying, not really that, but that along with his stuff. He just graduated. He went back to school he does like computer tech stuff and data analyst kind of stuff or whatever. And so yeah, anyways, that's what he did. That's what I'm sticking to. There we go. So for those that are just joining, we're just waiting for court to come up. Let me make sure I don't have it paused. Please hold. Nope, it's not paused. Was moving, so there you go. We're waiting for court to come up. They'll start this morning like they do. They'll go to a sidebar. They're kind of running a little bit late, and they're usually starting at like 9:15. And look at that. Ask for it and she'll receive. Hear you.
Good morning, Your Honor. May I proceed?
Yes, please.
Your Honor, before the court, we have the matter of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. Ms. Clancy is present. She is represented by Attorney Kevin Reddington, and the Commonwealth is represented by Assistant District Attorney Jennifer Sprague and Assistant District Attorney Shannon Buckingham.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone, and good morning, counsel. Good morning, Ms. Clancy. All right. So before we get going, let me talk to counsel about today's schedule and kind of where we go. So if I could see everybody at the sidebar, please.
We're at the sidebar. It's not going to get too far up at the sidebar. They're going to Uspar up at the sidebar. It might try to get bizarre up at the sidebar. They're going to do some talk up at the sidebar. It's not far of a walk up at the sidebar. They might just have to squawk up at the sidebar. We can keep going. So I want him to come back with numbers. We're looking for specifics. I want to hear state has 5 more witnesses. If he doesn't say a number, that means that it's what do you call it? Days worth of testimony from the state, in my opinion. Do I know anything more than anybody else? No, not at all. Oh yeah, the sidebar transcript should be good. I'm guessing a lot of it's going to be like, where do y'all order in for lunch? Y'all want to do DoorDash? How about Pizza Hut? All this talk of the personal pan pizzas has got me going. Good morning, Emily. How are you doing? So you can make a lot of things rhyme with a lot of stuff, right? Oh, here, I can hear that lawnmower big time. I'm wondering if the judge is like, look, we're getting out of here early today. He's like, none of this working late till 3:30 stuff. He's like, I can't take much more of that. Oh my gosh, that's so loud. I sit up at the sidebar. Shooba-doo-be-doo. I sit at the sidebar. Sorry, y'all. It'll go away. I said up at the sidebar. Shooba-doo-be-doo, up at the sidebar. That's just a catchy little tune. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, I feel like the CW needed to simplify their case. That's a good way to say it. So intuitive booty, I like your name. If CW doesn't have any more evidence on premeditation, they should just rest. That's, yeah, right. It's, again, they're going through all this stuff, and and I understand they're good, because I feel like they have to by default call a couple of more people if they're going in this line of we're bringing up the people who are seeing her at these facilities and whatnot. But after that, I'm like, yeah, where are we going here? Like, if it's not directly to y'all trying to state that she was of sound mind, and I guess that this is too, but again, I just felt like they really buried the first part of it by just bringing up any old person and being like, well, I knew her and she did this and she did that and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I saw I saw a clip of Nancy Grace, and she had some woman on that the woman was like talking smack about someone else that was coming on Nancy's show. And Nancy's like, how dare you? You're not here. Just give me your opinion on psychosis. You're not here to trash my other guest. You know how she gets like so outraged or whatever. And you just always have to kind of wonder, like, is this legit or is this like, being extra? Like, where are we at? But it's just a clip, so I don't know the whole context of it. But the woman was unfazed. She was like, well, this is why I'm saying that. Yeah, they definitely need to have an expert, like, and I would be surprised if the state doesn't, because literally it's like, at this point, they need to present the evidence and then bring up an expert saying, this is how it all ties in, because you already know the defense is. And so that's where I'm like, where are we going with this? But again, they said 8 weeks. The judge gave us false hope in the beginning. He's like, we're way ahead schedule. And it was like, oh, cool. And then she stipulated to all this. Like, we're skipping over these witnesses. I feel like they still call the same witnesses. Did the stipulation just get rid of like 2 people? It's like, well, how many witnesses did y'all have? It's just, I don't know. Good morning, Crystal. You've not missed much of anything. They're at their sidebar deciding the air quote schedule. They're at the sidebar. Hello, Kelly the kitty at the sidebar. She's headed to the city up at the sidebar. She's also pretty witty at the sidebar. Hello, Kelly the kitty. See, that's what I could do. I could incorporate user names, Sofa Squad names, into the sidebar song. I can't. Kelsey's vacation. I can't spit that out, but Nancy's foot stays on top mom. Can't see Anthony's neck, right? She loves saying top mom. She loves the word tot. 3 tots. Like, that's her thing, right? Is that word. I'm surprised she hasn't, what do you call it? Like, copyrighted or whatever you do. It's so funny. I'm surprised Casey Anthony hasn't tried to sue Nancy Grace. Deciding where to golf this afternoon, that sounds really nice. Kelsey, just call me Kelsey. Very Dr. Seuss of her. I would have loved to have seen the good morning, Lisa. Same here, Intuitive. I would have loved to have seen the Google searches in this case, right? And I feel like we needed to see those. Like, why hasn't either side produced just this came from the computer, this came from this, right? And it might be boring, but that could also show, okay, so there wasn't any pre-planning, because we've heard of them. Like, well, she looked up what's a psycho. Well, she looked up how to kill. Well, she did this. I want to see all of them. Yeah, trademark. Thank you, Jesse. I want to see all of them, right? And they just haven't produced that. Man, I'd love, but see, even the jury right now, right? It's like they're in that phase where it's like they're all having to just kind of hang out and be like, so how's the weather? What are y'all up to this afternoon? Here we go.
So we're set to the jury at this point.
Go on and bring the jury in here, people. Look, he's shaking his head. He's like, we're leaving early today.
All rise. Jurors entering.
Hear ye. All rise. Hear ye. Good morning, Bougie. How's it going? Oh, thank you, Minsign. Lindsay's like, hey, what's going on? Okay, here we go.
Hey, all persons having anything to do before the Honorable William Sullivan, Justice of the Superior Court, now sitting in Plymouth, within and for the Commonwealth. Draw near, give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This court is now in session. Please be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor. May I proceed?
Yes, please.
Your Honor, before the court today, we have the continuation of the jury trial in the matter of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. Ms. Clancy is present. She is represented by Attorney Kevin Reddington. The Commonwealth is represented by Assistant District Attorney Jennifer Sprague and Assistant District Attorney Shannon Buckingham.
All right. Well, thank you, Madam Clerk. Good morning, everyone. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to ask you those questions to make sure everybody was able to follow my instructions. And then at that point, we'll talk a little bit about today's schedule. All right. So we'll get to the questions. First question is, any member of the jury read, seen, heard, or overheard anything from any source about any aspect of this case that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial? Last question, is there any other serious matter of concern bearing on your service as a juror in this case that anybody needs to bring to my attention? All right, great. Thank you for following those instructions. Today, we're going to continue with the Commonwealth's presentation of evidence. The anticipation is that we will go probably similar to what we had the last couple of days into the afternoon. All right. And then after that, before I send you home, I'll talk again with council in regards to the schedule for the rest of the week and kind of where we are. All right. So when you leave here today, you probably have a little bit better idea as the schedule for the rest of the week and into next week. All right. So, so with that, I think we'll return to the Commonwealth's case. Attorney Buckingham.
Your Honor, Commonwealth would call Daniel Lawler to the stand, please.
One second, start right there. Raise your right hand.
Good morning. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony and the evidence you present to the court and the jury and the now pending between the Commonwealth and the defendant's class shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you, sir. You may have a seat.
Watch your step.
All right. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Your Honor.
All right, counsel.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Could you please tell the jurors your first and last name?
Yes. First name's Dan, last name's Lawler.
And where are you employed?
With the Massachusetts State Police.
What's your rank with the state police?
Sergeant.
And how long have you worked for the state police?
9 years.
At some point, did you work in an assignment with the Plymouth County District Attorney's Office as part of the State Police Detectives Unit?
Yes.
And how long were you with the Plymouth County DA's Office State Police Detectives Unit?
From March 2021 until June 2025.
I'm going to draw your attention back to January of 2023. Do you recall going out or responding to an incident that occurred in Duxbury?
Yes.
And the incident occurred at 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
Yes.
And you're aware that that involved a death investigation where 2 children had been declared deceased, and at the time there was another child that was being treated at the hospital?
Yes.
What were you asked to do, or what was the first thing you did in relation to this investigation?
I responded to the South Shore Hospital in Weymouth.
And why did you go there?
I was advised by my supervisor to respond.
Okay. And were you aware that a woman by the name of Lindsay Clancy had been transported there to South Shore Hospital?
Yes.
And when you arrived at South Shore Hospital, was a Duxbury police detective already on scene?
Yes.
And do you recall who that was?
Detective Matthew.
Now, when you, meaning the State Police Detectives Unit, are involved in an investigation, is it common that you would utilize the services of the Crime Scene Services section of the State Police?
Yes.
And the Crime Scene Response Unit?
Yes.
And in this case, did members of those 2 units respond as well to the South Shore Hospital at the time that you were there?
Yes.
Do you recall who from the Crime Scene Services and the response unit responded?
Chemist Maureen Hartnett and Trooper Rostoffers.
Did you have the occasion to observe Lindsay Clancy at the South Shore Hospital?
Yes.
And she was in the emergency department, correct?
Correct.
And was she able to speak, or was she intubated?
She was unable to speak.
Did you observe her to have medical equipment and being treated while you were there?
She had medical equipment attached to her person, yes.
And did you observe her to have injuries, visible injuries?
Yes.
At the South Shore Hospital, in addition to speaking to Detective Maffio and assessing Lindsay Clancy, did you do or serve anything on the hospital themselves?
Yes.
What did you do?
A preservation notice.
And what is a preservation notice?
The preservation notice is to preserve the defendant's urine and blood.
And you provide that to staff at the hospital to ensure that the blood is saved unless and until a warrant is obtained for that material?
Correct.
And in addition to serving the preservation order, did you collect some items that were removed from medical staff that were on Lindsay Clancy, the defendant?
Yes.
What did you collect, or what did they provide you?
It was her clothing and wedding ring and wedding band.
If I may approach the witness.
Well, she's putting her gloves on. I have no objection to any of this, Judge.
Okay, all right.
As far as, Sergeant Lola, as far as the items collected, when they're received from the hospital staff, what do you guys do with them?
So it goes, originally went to Detective Mafia from Duxbury PD. Then it went to me, and then it was documented by Trooper Stoffers. And then some of it will go to the office, or will go to the crime lab. In this case, went to the crime lab.
Okay. But as the state police trooper on scene, the investigator on scene, you at some point retain custody of the item.
Correct.
And I'm just showing you a paper bag. Is that familiar to you?
Yes.
And is this the bags that generally the detectives unit or crime scene uses to put particular pieces of evidence inside of it?
Yes.
Since I just struggled to put the gloves on, I'm just going to show you the item if that's okay. Showing you one item. Is that familiar to you?
Yes.
What do you know this item to be?
Shirt.
Is it a piece of clothing that you obtained from the hospital?
Yes.
Does it appear to be a woman's tank top?
Yes.
Okay. Able to observe some staining on the front. Looking close.
Yes.
And again, it's cut down the middle.
Correct.
This is how it was received from the hospital.
Yes.
I would move to admit the tank top as the next exhibit.
All right, that may be admitted.
Exhibit 223.
Thank you.
Showing you another item. Is that familiar to you?
Yes.
And what are these?
Jeans.
And these were also cut and off the defendant and received by the medical staff at Social Hospital.
Yes.
And on these jeans, you see a little bit of staining on the front.
Yes.
I would move to admit these as the next exhibit.
That may be admitted.
Exhibit 224.
Thank you.
Just showing one more item. Is that familiar to you?
Yes.
Appears to be a woman's bra, correct?
Correct.
Cut down the middle,
Yes.
and it has some staining in the front, in the middle where the cuts are.
Correct.
And is this an item that was collected that was on Lindsay Clancy's body on January 24th, 2023?
Yes.
Move to admit this as the next exhibit.
That may be admitted.
Exhibit 225.
All right, thank you.
You indicated there was also some rings that were collected, correct?
Correct.
And eventually these items were then taken by forensic scientist Hartnett, and eventually they get returned to the State Police Detectives Unit in your experience. Is that fair to say?
Fair to say.
Now, in addition to going to the South Shore Hospital on January 24th, 2023, did you go to any other hospitals?
Yes.
Which hospital did you go to?
Boston Children's Hospital.
And why did you go there?
I was advised to go there by my supervisor.
Okay, and did you learn that one of the children, Callan Clancy, had been transported to the Boston Children's Hospital?
Yes.
And were you there to just obtain what his current status was at that time?
Yes.
And the time that you were there at the Boston Children's on January 24th, fair to say he was still alive but noted to be in critical condition?
Yes.
Now, in the early morning hours of January 25th of 2023, were you aware that a search warrant was obtained for the home of 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
Yes.
And in your time with the State Police Detectives Unit and during that time in January of 2023, how did you guys approach the execution of a search warrant?
So the house would have been frozen pending the search warrant being signed. Once it's signed, we begin the execution, and crime scene would document the residents inside and outside before we would go in.
Okay, so when crime scene goes in and they document, you're familiar, they use photographs and video, right?
Correct.
And once they've gone through and documented the scene as it was secured, do you, as part of the detectives unit team, then go in the house to begin search?
Yes.
And fair to say there are a lot of hands on deck during something like this?
Correct.
And in this instance, the detectives unit was searching the entire home at 47 Summer Street, including 3 floors, basement, first floor, second floor, as well as any vehicles that were on the property.
Correct.
And in addition to people or troopers with the detectives unit, were there other local law enforcement also assisting?
Yes.
And what was your role that night or that morning in the execution of the warrant?
I was the evidence officer.
And what does that mean?
I document evidence that is located by investigators during the search warrant.
And so at that time period, when you're executing a search warrant and searching a place like a home, is the information that you know at that point what guides the search?
Yes.
So you don't know what you're looking for unless you know what happened, right?
Correct.
So in this circumstance, fair to say the state police had limited information about what had actually transpired in that house.
Correct.
But each and every room was searched, to your knowledge?
To my knowledge, yes.
And your role was just to document items that were going to be collected and returned to the state police detectives unit?
To document items that would be collected and either go back to the state police detective unit or to the crime lab.
And fair to say when the crime lab takes items back to the lab, they have an entirely different process on how to monitor, track them, and inventory the items, correct?
Correct.
So in this particular warrant execution, did you engage in the search?
Yes.
And you said you documented what other members of the group found and located where they located it, correct?
Correct.
And so you, as the evidence officer, were aware that Trooper Rabbit located some prescription pill bottles in the kitchen that morning, correct?
Correct.
And so as the evidence officer, were you responsible for kind of keeping custody of those bottles?
Correct.
At some later point after those bottles were photographed and collected, did you inventory those bottles?
Yes.
I'm going to just show you what's been marked as Exhibit 155, if I may approach the witness.
You may.
So Sergeant, just showing you this bag here. It's already been marked, Exhibit 155. I'm going to show you 4 pill bottles. And you can take a look at them so they look familiar to you.
Yes.
So the first one I'm looking at is labeled trazodone. And as far as how you inventory these, what do you do when you inventory them?
Just count them.
Okay, so do you also review the information on the label as to what should be in the bottle or what the original prescription was?
Yes.
So as far as the trazodone, it says filled on January 12th, 2023 with 30 in it. And so you counted to determine how many were left, right?
Correct.
And so fair to say there were 20 remaining in this bottle when you inventoried it.
Correct.
The diazepam, 5 milligrams, date filled January 9th of 2023 with 14 as the quantity. You counted what was in this bottle.
Correct.
And there's 2.5 left in there, correct?
Correct.
And diazepam, 2 milligrams, date filled January 16th, 2023. It has 3 listed on there, right? In type.
Yes.
But there appears to be like a pink mark through it.
Correct.
Did you put that pink mark on there?
No.
Would that have been there when the bottle was seized?
It could have been.
Okay. But regardless of how many it said were the quantity, you counted how many were actually in this bottle.
Correct.
And fair to say there were 9.5 remaining in that bottle.
Correct.
And the last one, amitriptyline, 10 milligrams. It says date filled January 16th, 2023, quantity 30. And you counted how many were left in this bottle as well?
Correct.
And there were 22 in this bottle.
Correct.
And you documented that as this was put into evidence in the state police?
Yes.
Did you search in the upstairs master bedroom of the house during the search warrant?
Yes, I assisted with the search.
Did you locate anything that you documented or collected to take back to the state police?
Yes.
In the master bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. What did you locate?
I believe it was a baby monitor and a Google Nest camera.
Okay. Did you observe the room, the master bedroom?
Yes.
And did you search in a nightstand that was next to the bed?
I don't recall searching a nightstand next to the bed.
Were there other investigators that were also in the room searching other areas of the bedroom?
Yes.
And as far as any additional work you did on this particular investigation, again, fair to say the detective unit works as a team and divides up work and for follow-up.
Correct.
And you participated in some follow-up investigation by speaking to some witnesses, correct?
Correct.
And at some point, you were also asked to go to the Brigham and Women's Hospital where the defendant was following the sheriff's department, keeping watch of her.
Correct.
Do you recall what day you went there?
I don't recall the exact date.
Okay. Brigham and Women's Hospital, was she in her own room, or was she in like a open area?
She was in her own room.
When you were there on watch, did you go into the room, or were you outside the room?
Outside the room.
And as far as your memory of whether anyone else besides medical staff went in there, at any point when you were there at the Brigham Hospital, did you observe another individual come in to visit with her or meet with her?
Yes.
And were you advised that that person was coming in?
Yes.
And were you advised that that person was allowed in with a court order?
Yes.
When the person went in, did you know if it was an attorney, a doctor, somebody else?
It was not an attorney. It wasn't a doctor. It was, I believe, a psychiatrist.
And when that person went into the room, did you go in the room as well?
No.
And where did you stay?
Outside the room.
Man went into the room. Did he leave the door open or close the door?
I believe it was closed.
And when he came out, did he speak with you?
I don't recall.
Okay. But as far as you knew at that time period, that person was permitted to be in there and could close the door?
Correct.
And you don't know what was said or what was done in that room?
No. No.
Thank you.
Mr. Reddington.
So your position was as a sergeant for the state police on these dates that you testified to?
No, sir. At the time, I was a trooper.
Trooper.
Yes, sir.
Were you assigned to the district attorney's office?
Yes, sir.
It would be the Plymouth County DA's office, meaning these prosecutors here, right?
Correct, sir.
Actually, you have an office in their office, right?
Correct, sir.
You don't have to call me sir. So on the first time you got involved with this case was on the evening of, was it the 24th or 23rd?
Tuesday. I think it was the 24th.
Okay. And do you recall what time it was that you went there?
To the South Shore Hospital?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Approximately 7:30 p.m.
Now, at that point, you had known, obviously, that this was a major investigation involving the death of 2 children and 1 serious injury to another child. Is that correct?
Correct.
The media was absolutely insane all over the location of the house and in the hospitals and everywhere. Isn't that right?
I recall media at the house. I'm not sure about the hospital stuff.
Okay. It was a fairly horrific and largely attended to, if you will, event. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Lindsay was, when you went to the South Shore Hospital, that's where you saw her before she was transferred to the Brigham and Women's, right?
Yes.
When you went in to see her at the South Shore Hospital, she was in the emergency room, right?
Yes.
Would you agree with me that she was pretty well, she had the intubation tube in her mouth, she had tape on her face, she had her arms all taped up and wires and tubes and everything else, right?
Yes.
And it was a very confusing and, quite frankly, shocking sight to walk into that room and see her there in that condition, right?
Yes.
And you, about your duty, collected clothing and her wedding band, correct?
Yes.
And you went through all that with the items you seized, and you introduced those into evidence and noted what the government said appears to be stains, but it was blood on her clothing. Is that right?
I would say.
Appeared to be,
yeah.
in your experience.
Yes.
Any shoes? Did she have any shoes, sneakers, slippers, anything like that?
I don't recall shoes. I think 2 black socks, but I don't recall shoes.
Right. If there were shoes on her person or brought to the hospital, the odds are that when they saved the clothing, they would have saved the shoes as well, right?
Yes.
So you took the clothing, and then you went to the Boston Children's Hospital, right?
Yes.
And after you left the Boston Children's Hospital, you went back to the house and then assisted in the search of the property with a search warrant?
Yes.
And were you the lead investigator at that point, or were you one of the guys just searching?
I was not the lead investigator.
But there was a court order, search warrant, right?
Yes.
And you, meaning collectively you, knew that you had a search warrant that authorized a search for a number of items, including medications or pills or pill bottles, right?
Yes.
I don't have to grab this and ask if you saw this. You never did see that, did you?
I did not recall seeing that, sir.
You don't know what, if anything, was inside that item, right?
I don't know.
And counsel asked you whether or not it's a collaborative effort on the part of the detective units, and that you all collaborate and work together. Can you explain that? Do you report to each other? Do you keep each other advised as to what you get for evidence?
Yeah. So when we go into a house, we're not familiar with the layout. We'll walk the house and figure out where bedrooms are located, and then essentially we kind of just break up into teams, if you will, and search the residence as evidence is located. And at that time, as the evidence officer, I would be alerted that, hey, there's evidence here. We're going to document and collect it.
Okay. And you videotape the scene and you take photographs of the areas, the different rooms, right?
I do not, but crime scene does.
But you were in the house and you were able to observe the rooms. You could see all sorts of wall hangings and paintings and fingerprints and handprints and all that stuff on the wall, right?
Yes.
Downstairs, you saw in the basement or the finished basement that there was an area that was an office or appeared to be an office. Is that correct?
I don't recall the exact layout of the basement.
Do you remember that items were seized from the basement, like a Mac Pro laptop, something like I have right here? 2 of them that were seized. You remember that?
Yes.
And from your investigation, you're aware that those would have been Pat Clancy's laptops, his business and personal laptop, correct?
At the time, I'm not sure who the laptops belonged to, but I know they were collected.
Okay. And how about Lindsay Clancy's, her cell phone? Was that seized, if you know?
I believe that was seized from the master bedroom.
From the master bedroom. And do you remember, was it located on the bed?
There was a phone located on the bed. I think there was another phone located in a dresser drawer. I'm not sure which phone was what, though.
All right. So both of those, which one was what? Did either one of them have blood on them?
I don't recall.
But if you guys were seizing the items in the property, such as the cell phone that had blood on it, in your experience, you probably would have remembered that, right?
Correct.
And you don't remember that?
I don't.
Okay. You did notice a lot of blood on the floor and on the walls, on the mirror and the window ledge and that area. Is that fair?
I recall blood on the floor by the mirror, and then blood on the floor going towards that back right window.
Okay. At no time did you ever come across or discover a, what do you call it, Apple Watch, right?
No, sir.
And after you all concluded your search of the home, And how long did that take? A couple of hours?
Probably. I don't recall the exact time we concluded.
Okay. The next thing you did was to go to the Brigham and Women's Hospital. Is that right?
After the search warrant?
Yeah, she had asked you a question about Brigham and Women's. I mean, did you do something else in between? I don't know.
I don't recall exactly what I did after the search warrant, but at some point I did go to the Brigham.
Okay. Can you tell us when you went to the Brigham?
I don't recall the exact date. I was.
Right, so whatever date you went to the Brigham, you went there for what purpose?
She was transferred to that facility, and it was to maintain custody of her at that point.
So you were going to maintain custody of her?
So the sheriffs, I believe,
right,
had custody of her, and then our unit was tasked to facilitate providing coverage over the next couple of days.
Right, and she was actually in the bed with all, again, tubes and all sorts of things coming out of her body when you saw her, right?
Yeah, she was in the hospital bed.
And she was in like an emergency room. It was a little small room with a lot of machines in it that took up a lot of space, right?
I don't think she was in the emergency room. She was in one of the floors.
One of the floor rooms, but it was an intensive care unit, right?
I believe it could have been the surgical intensive care unit.
Surgical intensive care. And when you went there to facilitate custody, who were you facilitating custody for? The DA's office?
Yes, essentially.
Okay. And whatever, do you remember how many days? Was it like 2 days, a week, 2 weeks after the incident that brought you to the house in Duxbury? Do you recall how long it was before you went to the hospital to maintain custody, facilitate?
I don't recall how many days, maybe 2 or 3. I'm not sure the exact count.
All right, so she had been transferred out of South Shore Hospital. She was transferred to Brigham and Women's Hospital. You went to Brigham and Women's Hospital. I imagine you had to go through security to get in there, right? Well, your badge, right?
At some point, yeah, we were probably assisted with security to get up there.
Well, you know that nobody could get access to Lindsay Clancy in that hospital, and I mean nobody, right?
Correct.
And this went on for day after day after day, to your knowledge, facilitating, right?
Correct.
Her parents couldn't get in to see her, correct?
I don't believe so.
She had an attorney that had difficulty, not me, but another guy that had difficulty getting in to see her. Isn't that right?
I'm not aware of that difficulty.
I had to get a court order to get a doctor in there to see her, didn't I?
Yes, it was a court order.
And when I got the court order, a doctor came in and met with Lindsay pursuant to that judge's order, and that was Paul Zeisel, correct?
I believe that's the name. I'm not sure if he was a doctor, but I believe that was the gentleman that came on the court order.
Okay, only because in your direct you said that he was not a doctor, but he was a psychiatrist. So, I mean, it's just, you knew that he had something to do with head doctor, psychiatrist, psychologist, something like that.
Correct.
Okay. Did he have to clear it with you to get into the room?
He checked in with myself and the other trooper. We were advised that he was coming and to let him in on the court order.
All right. Now, I wasn't there on that occasion, right?
No.
And when Dr. Zeisel, or whoever it was, went into the room to see her, it's your memory that he was allowed to shut the door. Is that correct?
I believe he shut the door.
Now, you were involved in this investigation pretty intensely, working with the DA's office, right?
Correct.
Isn't it fair to say that one of the contentions of the district attorneys is that Paul Zeisel, my doctor, that I got a court order to get in to see her, told her to call Pat and tell him that she heard voices?
Can I see counsel sidebar in regards to this?
Uh-oh. Now it's getting saucy. We're hearing the voices thing, so on and so forth. Now, for those that are just joining, thank you for doing so. We're going to be doing the morning session here. I will not be streaming this afternoon, but we'll meet back up this evening to do our live chat, see what happened, go over, see what some of the updates are on these other trials that we're kind of looking at in the back burner. I always suggest these 2 channels for live chats. Gigi from Pretty Lies and Alibi. and Joshua Ritter with Courtroom Confidential live trials. So there could be other ones that I'm not aware of that y'all are like, oh, this one's cool too. I just, personally know from being in their chat rooms in there that it's like the vibe over here where people are chill and cool and nice to each other. That's been my experience. So check those out and we'll see. So, here we are. Yeah, the back and forth for these witnesses, I can understand and respect that it's like, okay, maybe this guy couldn't have testified earlier, whatever. I don't know. But it just feels like whiplash, right? Where it's like, okay, we're geared up. We're going to hear from women and infants. This is what we're doing. It's like, oh, whoa, okay, hold on. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, we're back at the crime scene. Okay, he's doing this. You see what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, Mama says other chats scare me. Yeah, I can't fathom. East Idaho. I'm surprised. Well, I guess they are pretty big. The big network chat rooms like Law and Crime Chat Room, Court TV, East Idaho News. Probably, I can imagine that they're off the hook, especially right now with like so many people watching. This trial has attracted just everybody from every walk of life. And so you got a ton of people that don't know how to, I shouldn't say that don't know kind of like how trials and courtrooms and legal processes work. I'm not trying to sit here and say I'm a professional or an expert in that. I'm not a lawyer, but there's a general knowledge if you've watched these where you just have a basic, this is how this kind of goes on some things. So we're kind of seeing this whole crowd that's coming up that's just like, well, what about this? And it's like, well, that's not how that goes, Now, granted, there's a lot of stuff you've been watching these in this courtroom that I'm like, huh? Oh gosh. So it's, like this right here where it's like, okay, what? We're back here. But again, it's like, okay, he probably couldn't get up here and testify before. So I get it, but it is what it is. So anyways, some of these cases, they spill over from I say the true crime community, but people who just typically consume some form of true crime, and they just spill all the way over and like everybody stops and watches. Oh, hold on one second. Oh, excuse me. And it can just be brutal in the chat rooms, right? And I think the squad's pretty good over here. Even if people have different opinions, there's just no reason to be nasty to each other. For me, I like to look at it like I'm in the jury and I'm looking at everything coming in and I'm trying to look at it from each angle. Like if the state wants to tell us this, why are they doing this? If the defense wants to prove this, why are they doing this? And just kind of go along with it and see what happens. EDB is Emily D. Baker, and she's an attorney and a YouTuber, and she's got a pretty big, a big following. She's very popular. She goes through a lot of, documents and explains stuff and breaks it down and everybody who's got little ones running out to first day of school, or if like you're back to teaching today, I hope your day goes well. So I have a FaceTime date, if you will, not a date, but you know what I'm saying, it's my second cousin. My inclination to say my niece, but it's not my niece, because I look at my cousin like my sister, right? But technically it's my second cousin. It's her first day in 6th grade. Okay. She got her hair all done up. They sent me a little video this morning, and I'm dying I'm on pins and needles to talk to them tonight and see how it goes. You know what I'm saying? So, I can't wait. So I hope that all your people or whoever, if you're a teacher or whatever, that your first day back goes well for you or your kids or grandkids or whatever it is. So, you don't remember how that was like when you're a kid, like going to school, it's like the first day, and especially like monumental years or whatever. It's such a big day, right? And 6th grade is, okay. And in her situation, 6th grade is like the top of the class, if you will. So like next year is a more of a transition to like, I can't remember if she'll go to a different school or just a part of the campus. But it's a big transition or whatever. So, it's a big deal. When I look back, so 6th grade for me was like the beginning, the lower classmen of middle school, right? So we transitioned out of primary K through 5 to that. And then 6th grade, like I didn't have any friends in my class. All of my friends were in a different class. So, Defense Diaries, Bob has been in the courtroom, still boots on the ground. Oh, cool. I've heard of them, but I haven't watched them. But I've heard of Defense Diaries. I'll tell you one thing I'm excited about the school year starting is my Planet Fitness clearing out. Okay. I'm one of these where I'm like, I love seeing, young people go to the gym and work out. There's 10,000 other things they could be doing that are way worse. So I think that's cool. But I'm like, I want my equipment back. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Of like going in there and it's like, there's 5, kids and their Crocs and all standing around the same machine. And I'm just like, okay, what's going on up in here? So I'm very excited about that. But again, I like that, you see young people in the gym working out. I wasn't doing that when that was their age. So, but it just gets really busy. So anyways, so y'all, for those that are just joining, we're at a sidebar. We didn't get too far. The sidebars. You don't have to take a car up at the sidebar. Hold on, Defense Diaries as well. His dad was John Wayne Gacy's defense. Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know that. Hey, Millennial, how's it going? Yeah, for real about the Planet Fitness, right? It's legit. When the summer first starts and they get in that, like, the kid, whatever it is, like up to 8, I forget how it is, like high schoolers can come free, or I don't know what the rule is. And I don't know if it's like if you're a parent goes or whatever, but that first little bit, I mean, y'all, it's like you walk in one day and the place is mobbed. I'm knock on wood, my Planet Fitness, and it hasn't even been that bad. Yeah, the broccoli heads, literally. It's so interesting to see like what's in style now. Like when I'm like, what are these kids doing? Like the haircut that the dudes wear and the Crocs and all that or whatever. My gym, even the younger people, they're very nice and respectful. And so they're not doing like dumb stuff. At least when I go early in the morning, and it's usually a very different crowd. They're like in and out, in and out, in and out. And even I think the younger people that I see now with my hip stuff, once I was able to go back to the gym, I was going at weird hours and it would be more like, whoa, like this place is mobbed with people. But like this morning I went and it was just like normal, multiple Smith machines open, multiple, squat racks open. So yeah, it was very nice. It was very nice. My exit his young gravy era. Yeah, that's a good way to describe that, the young gravy. Hold on one second. Sophomore in college, they got a junior in high school. My youngest is 4th. That's awesome. Yeah, you got all ranges going there in all different schools. You're gonna have I don't know what first days are or whatever if that's for you, but yeah, I bet you're gonna be in the midst of lots of let's get ready to get everybody back to school, because those are 2 very different experiences, going back to college and then high school stuff, right? Especially a freshman. That's a major. Well, it depends, because like again, when I went to school, freshman was you went to the high school, but you were obviously the lowest man on the totem pole. But that was like this is it. You're in high. This is big time, right? This is for real now. I do feel like I like the setup better of 10th through 12th and 7th, 8th, and 9th being more middle school. I just think it's a little bit more age appropriate. But it is what it is. That was however long. I'm 49 this year, so that was that long ago, right? So, it's times are very different. Oldest niece turned 20 this year. Oh, isn't that wild as they get older? Yeah, last time I was in visiting my cousin, like when especially if you don't see people all the time and you see because she's in 6th grade now, my cousin's cousin or my second cousin, and when you don't see somebody regularly and all of a sudden they just start to look more, not that she looks like an adult, but like there was like she's looking more like she's growing into herself. You know what I'm saying? It's just so wild when you're like, whoa, you grew up all of a sudden. Like it seems it goes by so fast where it's just like, what? Huh? I don't know. It's wild. My son started sixth grade, the SAS, and some of the girls. Sixth grade is middle school here, but the fourth graders have their own separate part of the campus. Yeah, it's interesting. That's how mine was like. So primary school was definitely like kindergarten through first, second, and third. And then that's what it was. Fourth and fifth grade, we moved to the middle school campus, like a totally different place. But fourth and fifth grade were like up here on the hill. And then sixth, seventh, eighth was down here. And so like up here, it was like you had a playground, like it was like kid vibe. And then you go down the hill and here is middle school. And that's where like you had the soccer field and you're starting into gym class and just totally different kind of a thing. And then, like I said, a completely different campus. And I'm sure, I mean, now I hear that my county has like 3 high schools in it. And I'm like, what? Like we just had one when I went. Big upperclassmen now, 11th grade. That's another big year. $400 a week for daycare. I mean, that's just, yeah, that is wild. Daycare is so expensive. He's eye to eye with you now, Louise says, yeah. Isn't that, I mean, it's just like, and of course, when you're a kid, you know, it feels like forever that childhood is. And, you know, because it's almost like you're looking for those, well, first of all, the big monumental things, right? It's like, I want to drive, I want to do this, like all the stuff, you know, prom, 18 years old, you know, whatever, you know, whatever it is. And it seems like it'll never get here. But then I guess, you know, you just get older and you get more responsibility and life is coming at you and it just flies by. I mean, I'm like, we're in August. And even in my mind, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get September. Like I'm wishing away August to September because it's my favorite time of year. But it's just, it's a blink of an eye and it's gone. You know, I try and remind myself that because I get carried away with stuff where I'm like, wishing time away and wishing this away. And it's like one day you're going to wish that you had a crazy busy schedule like this, or that you would wish that you could even be in moments that you don't wish you were in now. You know what I'm saying? Just to get that time back, I guess. So, well, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, it goes very quickly. Yeah, the days are long, but the years are short. That's a really good way to say that. I'm still doing 2025, right? I mean, same. No, I have adults, right? Oh, congratulations, Rospara. Hold on, I can't see it. Rosparjum. I hope I'm saying your name right. Ross or Rospara. I hope I'm saying that right. But congratulations. My son is staying home with their daughter now because of the daycare situation. His wife has better benefits and makes more. Yeah, good on them. Because a lot of times, like with that right there, depending on whose job has the better benefits, especially if once you have like kids in the picture, I mean, it just makes sense, right? It's like, I mean, it's so expensive. And if one job has really good insurance and benefits and stuff like that, oh yeah, 100%. Oh, Maura, thank you for gifting 10 memberships. That's really sweet of you. I appreciate that. And whoever got those memberships, you know what? I bet they appreciate that too. Let's go back over to this thing and see if we can see what it has to get caught up or whatever. Also, yeah, I just dropped the thing. We had buy me a coffee for the mods now. We have the best mods here. And that's a little buy me a coffee thing for them. All that goes directly to them. And so there's that if you feel moved. Hold on. Hey Birkenstock. Hey Style Chatter. The dogs are barking in the background, y'all. It's like working to pay for daycare. Yeah, it is what I said. We did daycare. It was basically my paycheck for 8 years, literally. It's wild how much it is. When friends of mine and stuff like that most of the people I know, their kids are more grown now, but like when they would talk about it and whatnot and like the cost and everything, it was wild. I was just like, oh my gosh. I'm sorry, I forgot to mute it while I took a drink. Sorry about that. Sonny's gonna be 50th on the 18th. Happy early birthday.
All right, so
Wait, here we go.
the jury, like I said to you, I think a couple of weeks ago, sometimes I got to talk to the lawyers for a little bit longer than it takes over here at the sidebar. So this is one of those situations. So I'm going to ask you to go back to the jury room just for a couple of minutes, I think, and we'll bring you right back in and we'll resume with the testimony. Okay?
Hey, Susan, how's it going? How's Florida? Anybody want to drop bets that they go ahead and end court for the day here in a little bit? Anybody want to start placing bets? We can place them.
All right. So, counsel, what we're going to do is we'll have it just so the record's clear. The jury's out of the room at this point. We will just conduct a short voir dire on the issue that we talked about over at sidebar. So I'll allow Mr. Reddington to ask questions at this point, and then I'll allow Commonwealth to also ask questions. Go ahead, counsel.
Okay, thank you. So you're in the hospital at Brigham and Women's, correct?
Yes.
And when you're there, with the purpose of obviously with other law officers to enforce the fact that she's in custody, Dr. Zeisel, or a doctor, came in pursuant to a court order, right?
Yes.
All right. And obviously had been cleared through security and went into the room where Lindsay was laying on the bed, right?
Yes.
You don't know, you don't recall if he closed the door or if he kept the door open or if it was half open. You just don't remember, right?
Yes.
Okay. Would you agree with me that in the course of preparing this case for trial, that you have worked and collaborated with the prosecutors, the two district attorneys, correct?
Yes.
And you guys would talk about theories of the case and evidence that they want you to run down, perhaps as an investigator, or try to obtain, or interviews and things of that nature, right?
Yes.
And one of the theories that they had indicated to you is that Patrick Clancy had indicated to the investigators and to the grand jury, I believe, that Lindsay called him from the hospital, right?
I recall that.
And that Lindsay used that doctor's cell phone to call him from the hospital, right?
Yes.
And they basically had a theory that they wanted to run with, that Zeisel told her, Lindsay, to say that she heard voices, right?
I don't know if it's a theory or not. I just recall that conversation at some point.
Okay, so when was the conversation?
I don't recall exactly when.
Do you remember where the conversation was?
No.
You don't? Okay.
I'm assuming at the office. I just don't recall specifically when.
And who was it you were talking to?
Probably could have been one of the troopers in the office working the case.
One of the troopers, is it McGilligan?
Probably he's the case officer, so I'd imagine it probably wouldn't have been him, sir.
Probably could have been him.
Yeah.
How about any of the prosecutors? You talked to the DAs about that?
I don't recall specifically speaking to a prosecutor about this.
Well, how about not necessarily specifically, but do you have any memory of talking to the prosecutor about, quote, this, end quote?
No.
So what is it that your memory is that the trooper, whoever it may have been, or the investigator for the state police may have been, what did that person tell you?
That at some point when Lindsay was in the hospital with the doctor and the court order, that she made a phone call to Patrick and they discussed circumstances of the case, and then he was interviewed later on and communicated this phone call to, I believe, Trooper McElligin.
And what did McElligin tell you about the conversation? What the theory or the understanding was that
during the conversation, Lindsay communicated to Patrick that she had heard voices in her head.
And there was also the conversation regarding the psychologist is basically the one that planted that idea in her head, right?
The conversation between Trooper McElligin and I?
Yeah.
I don't recall that specifically. I just recall the facts that communicated to me that there was a phone call between Lindsay and Patrick.
Okay, you already said that. I know, and I apologize. I don't mean to cut you off, but let's cut to the chase.
Yeah.
What I'm asking you are voices. You know what that means when someone hears voices, right?
Yes.
You may not hear voices. I may not hear voices, but some people might hear voices, right?
Yeah.
That was discussed with McElligin, wasn't it?
Yes.
And what is it that he discussed with you about Lindsay hearing voices?
That's what she had told Patrick on the phone call, that she heard voices.
And when she told Patrick that she heard that on the phone call, the prosecution determined that it was Zell, or whoever that doctor was, you don't recall, that told her to say that for some type of a defense, right?
I don't know what the prosecution determined. All I can say, that's what I recall, the conversation between Lindsay and Patrick.
Okay. About when
the voices.
The voices.
Yeah.
And the conversation also included the fact that it was the psychologist that planted that idea in her mind. That's the theory, isn't it?
That would be the theory, but I don't recall having
Wait. Your answer is that would be the theory, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Agreeing with you that that's what was discussed.
All right. And this would be you and is it McElligin?
McElligin.
McElligin.
Yes, sir.
And you're unable to assist us, though, with any of the detail. You do recall that there was a conversation about that.
Correct.
And in the conversation, it was about the conversation that Lindsay had with her husband, indicating about voices, right?
Correct.
Using the psychologist's cell phone, right?
Correct.
And there was an indication that the psychologist told her to basically say that. You just told us, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Attorney Buckingham.
Sergeant Lawler, at the time that you were at the Brigham Hospital and at the time the doctor came in, you didn't know anything about a theory of the case, correct?
No.
And you didn't know or overhear anything in outside that room about conversations between the doctor and the defendant, did you?
Correct.
And you indicated that you never had a conversation with the prosecution about their theory of the case, did you?
Did not.
So anything that you recall was simply conversation with another trooper in the unit.
Correct.
And as you sit here in your testimony today and testify about your memory of that particular night, is anything about that conversation with Sergeant McElligin guiding your testimony?
No.
You changed, or has your memory changed as to that incident after you had this conversation with Trooper McElligin,
no.
Sergeant McElligin? And in fact, you don't know anything about whether there's any evidence about Dr. Zeisel giving or prompting the defendant to have that conversation with her husband, do you?
No.
All you know factually is what came out of the investigation from what Patrick said the call was and who he said the call was from and how the call occurred, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, please.
So basically, my contention is that you're obviously up here testifying as honestly as you can. It's pretty apparent, right?
Yes.
and you're very consistent with your oath, and you understand that it's important. And you're trying to, it may be difficult, but you're trying to explain what your memory is about conversation with the lead investigator, McElligott, right? I mean, you're trying to tell us what your memory is, right?
Yes.
So your testimony pertains to your conversation with the lead investigator, McElligott. It's got nothing to do with the fact that you don't recall this or you don't recall that. What you've testified to is for the judge to consider, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have.
All right. Why don't we do this? I'm going to take about a 10-minute break at this point.
Okay.
And we'll come back out and we will resume cross-examination. Okay?
Court, all right.
Okay, y'all. I've got questions.
All right, please.
Y'all help me out with this. We're gonna rewatch this for a second. I'm so confused. I'm having issues figuring out who said what. Hold on, I'm just rewinding this. Let's re-listen.
Hear voices, right?
Yeah.
That was discussed with case and evidence that they want you to run down, perhaps as an investigator, or try to obtain, or interviews and things of that nature, right?
Yes.
And one of the theories that they had indicated to you is that Patrick Clancy had indicated to the investigators and to the grand jury, I believe, that Lindsay called him from the hospital, right?
I recall that.
And that Lindsay used that doctor's cell phone to call him from the hospital, right?
Yes.
And they basically had a theory that they wanted to run with, that Zeisel told her, Lindsay, to say that she heard voices, right?
I don't know if it's a theory or not. I just recall that conversation at some point.
Okay, so when was the conversation?
I don't recall exactly when.
Do you remember where the conversation was?
No.
You don't? Okay.
I'm assuming at the office. I just don't recall specifically when.
And who was it you were talking to?
Probably could have been one of the troopers in the office working the case.
One of the troopers, is it McElligott?
Probably. He's the case officer, so I'd imagine it probably would have been with him, sir.
Probably could have been him.
Yep.
How about any of the prosecutors? You talked to the DAs about that?
I don't recall specifically speaking to a prosecutor about this.
Well, how about not necessarily specifically, but do you have any?
Okay, let's pause here for a second. Let's just walk through this. So the defense is saying to the sergeant that the sergeant, let's just get this straight, so help me out. The sergeant is saying that that he heard a theory that Patrick had said that Lindsay called him from the hospital using Dr. Ziel's phone, Zizel, whatever their name is, and that the doctor had told Lindsay to say she heard voices as a defense. So are we now saying that this is basically a rumor that the sergeant is saying he heard, or is this a fact? So I guess my question is, did Patrick say that to the grand jury, or is it that this guy in the stand is saying he heard this? Because I guess if that's the case, like, who said it? Who said that Lindsay said? You see what I'm saying? States theory of the case. It's a theory. Rumor, gossip, drama. Okay. Didn't they say that was in the New York Post article with Patrick? Oh, I'm not sure. That could be. I think the sergeant said he heard the conversation over the phone, and other troopers had a theory that the doctor said, okay, grand jury heard it. Yeah, because that's my question too. Because I guess it could be solved real quick. Because if Patrick, well, would Patrick really say that though? So it's like, where did that come from? Okay, let's finish listening to it real quick.
Memory of talking to the prosecutor about, quote, this, end quote.
No.
So what is it that your memory is that the trooper, whoever it may have been, or the investigator for the state police may have been, what did that person tell you?
That at some point when Lindsay was in the hospital with the doctor and the court order, that she made a phone call to Patrick and they discussed circumstances of the case, and then he was interviewed later on and communicated this phone call to, I believe, Trooper McElligin.
And what did McElligin tell you about the conversation? What the theory or the understanding was that
during the conversation, Lindsay communicated to Patrick that she had heard voices in her head.
And there was also the conversation regarding the psychologist is basically the one that planted that idea in her head, right?
The conversation between Trooper McElligin and I?
Yeah.
I don't recall that specifically. I just recall the facts that are communicated to me that there was a phone call between Lindsay and Patrick.
Okay, you already said that. I know, and I apologize. I don't mean to cut you off, but let's cut to the chase.
Yeah.
What I'm asking you are voices. You know what that means when someone hears voices, right?
Yes.
You may not hear voices. I may not hear voices, but some people might hear voices, right?
Yeah.
That was discussed with McElligin, wasn't it?
Yes.
And what is it that he discussed with you about Lindsay hearing voices?
That's what she had told Patrick on the phone call, that she heard voices.
And when she told Patrick that she heard that on the phone call, the prosecution determined that it was Zell, or whoever that doctor was, you don't recall, that told her to say that for some type of a defense, right?
I don't know what the prosecution determined. All I can say is that's what I recall, the conversation between Lindsay and Patrick.
Okay. About when
the voices.
The voices.
Yeah.
And the conversation also included the fact that it was the psychologist that planted that idea in her mind. That's the theory, isn't it?
That would be the theory, but I don't recall having
Wait. Your answer is that would be the theory, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Agreeing with you that that's what was discussed.
All right. And this would be you and is it McElligin?
McElligin.
McElligin.
Yes, sir.
And you're unable to assist us, though, with any of the detail. You do recall that there was a conversation about that.
Correct.
And in the conversation, it was about the conversation that Lindsay had with her husband indicating about voices, right?
Correct.
Using the psychologist's cell phone, right?
Correct.
And there was an indication that the psychologist told her to basically say that. You just told us, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Attorney Buckingham.
Okay, let's talk about it for a second. So here's my thing. Get the damn doctor up on the stand. Get the ZZL person. Get them on the stand. Get the other trooper on the stand. We'll get at the bottom of it real quick. So, okay, let's look at it a lot. Now, nothing surprises me at this point, y'all. If Dr. Z got on the stand and was like, well, yeah, I told her that could possibly be a defense in hearing voices. I mean, at this stage in life, I'm like, anything's possible. Because my first thing is like, okay, if that, like, what doctor in their right mind would say, because they're making out like this, like, hey, Lindsay, here, use my phone and tell Patrick that you heard voices. What would be the reason? Like, what would be their motivation for that? You see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't even make logical sense. But again, in this day and age, nothing surprises me anymore. So it's like, okay, vet it out, right? But he's then saying like, oh, well, because it sounds more normal when you're like, oh, well, she called Patrick from the doctor's phone and talked about the case and told him that she heard voices. Like, I could see that being more normal, but then when you throw the component in, the doctor told her to, like, why? I mean, why? You know what I mean? Like, the way they're presenting it. Okay, let's see what the state says again. Please hold.
Sergeant Lawler, at the time that you were at the Brigham Hospital and at the time the doctor came in, you didn't know anything about a theory of the case, correct?
No.
And you didn't know or overhear anything in outside that room about conversations between the doctor and the defendant, did you?
Correct.
And you indicated that you never had a conversation with the prosecution about their theory of the case, did you?
Did not.
So anything that you recall was simply conversation with another trooper in the unit.
Correct.
And as you sit here in your testimony today and testify about your memory of that particular night, is anything about that conversation with Sergeant McElligin guiding your testimony?
No.
You changed, or has your memory changed as to that incident after you had this conversation with Trooper McElligin,
no.
Sergeant McElligin? And in fact, you don't know anything about whether there's any evidence about Dr. Zeisel giving or prompting the defendant to have that conversation with her husband, do you?
No.
All you know factually is what came out of the investigation from what Patrick said the call was and who he said the call was from and how the call occurred, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
So, let me just,
Yeah, please.
so basically, my contention is that you're obviously up here testifying as honestly as you can. It's pretty apparent, right?
Yes.
And you're very consistent with your oath, and you understand that it's important. And you're trying to, it may be difficult, but you're trying to explain what your memory is about conversation with the lead investigator, McElligott, right? I mean, you're trying to tell us what your memory is, right?
Yes.
So your testimony pertains to your conversation with the lead investigator, McElligott. It's got nothing to do with the fact that you don't recall this or you don't recall that. What you've testified to is for the judge to consider, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have.
All right. Why don't we do this? I'm going to take about a 10-minute break at this point.
Okay.
And we'll come back out and we will.
Okay, so that answers a little more questions. So now I want to see what they say when they come back, because it almost sounds like water cooler talk, right? Where somewhere someone's come up with this, he said, she said, right? At some point, someone was like, because I could see this being like, yeah, I'll bet you that shrink told her to say she heard voices. I'll bet you that's what happened, boys. Okay. Because it's almost like, well, if he's saying he didn't know about that, then where's that even coming from? Right. And I'm not trying to say, I mean, clearly it came from somewhere. So I'm like, but if he's like, no, I had this working theory, and the state's like, well, when you were there, you didn't know about a working theory, and you just knew it was this and what was that and blah, 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 and this, that, and the other. So then I'm like, well, then where is this? Like, okay, then where did this come from? Like this little rumor mill that they're trying to clear up. And so then now I'm like, okay, so who's going to come testify after him? Right? Because I feel like now this is a whole new rabbit hole that we have to go down. Did a doctor and the hospital hand Lindsay their phone and say, call your husband and tell him you heard voices as your excuse as to why you did this? That's literally the way that it's kind of coming off to me. And I'm like, I have so many questions about that. Okay, hold on.
All parties are present, excluding the jury.
All right. Counsel, can I see your sidebar?
Judge is like, this is all too much. I'm going to have to order an emotional PPP pizza, an emotional personal pan pizza, and we're just going to go ahead and quit for today. I can't handle this. Judge is like, I'm done. I am done. Oh my gosh. Judge is probably like, too. He's like, now let me get this straight. You're trying to tell me the doctor gave the phone to Lindsay and said, tell him you heard voices? Yeah, really? Okay. What else y'all got? Oh, thanks for becoming a member, Mary. I appreciate you. Susie says, super confused. We're right there with you. This was like, well, I was wondering why he was on the stand, because I was like, why are we back here with this dude? Like, what are we even doing? Hey, Aaron, how's it going?
Court, all right. Jurors enter.
This court's now in session. Please be seated.
Your Honor, for the purpose of the record, we return back to the trial of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. All parties are present, including the defendant and including the 18 jurors.
All right. Members of the jury, thanks for your patience. We were able to deal with that issue. And so we're going to return now to the cross-examination. We're still going to take a morning break, as I've told you before. Might just be a little bit affected by the fact that we just took that you took that break. We didn't take that break. So with that, we're going to return to the cross-examination.
Thank you. Sergeant Lawler, we're at the point where you are assisting, if you will, in the custody of Lindsay at Brigham and Women's Hospital when you observed a doctor enter into that area and ultimately into her room. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And the door was either closed or open or halfway, you don't recall, which is understandable, but you just don't remember if it was closed completely or open a little bit, right?
Correct.
But either way, you weren't eavesdropping or trying to hear anything, were you?
No.
And then when the doctor finished talking with Lindsay, at some point, you as investigators were aware that the doctor had allowed her to call her husband and use his cell phone to speak to her husband, correct?
I later learned that, yes.
And you later learned and knew from the investigation that it was fairly recently to that point that the tubes had been removed from her mouth and she was able to at least talk to a degree. And then she talked on the phone, correct?
Correct.
And after that, fair to say that you did not, when I say you, I mean collectively, all the police officers investigating for the DA's office, you did not see any report that would indicate what, if anything, was said between Dr. Zeisel and Lindsay in that room, right?
Correct.
And who is Sergeant, is it McElligan?
Sergeant McElligan, yes, sir.
And Sergeant McElligan, Joshua?
Yes.
He's the lead investigator in this case, is that correct?
Correct.
And at the time, he was a sergeant and you were a trooper, right?
At the time, we were both troopers.
Oh, both troopers. Okay, so you both got promoted. And he, as the lead investigator, told you in a conversation, or perhaps more than one, that the government theory is that Dr. Zeisel told Lindsay to say to her husband that she heard voices, right?
Yeah, if you could rephrase that.
Okay. Did you talk to McElligan about the theory that Dr. Zeisel is the reason that she told her husband that she heard voices?
Yes.
And do you remember where or when that conversation occurred, or how many times that you guys discussed that?
I believe it would have been at the office. I don't recall exactly when.
Okay. And there's no investigator basis for that. That's McElligan's speculation. Is that correct?
Correct.
When you went there and you observed Lindsay after the doctor left, she's still obviously in the bed because she's paralyzed, right?
Correct. She was still in the bed.
Was she restrained by either soft restraints or handcuffs or whatever? Do you remember whether her hands or her wrists restrained to the bedpost?
I don't recall specifically restraints.
Okay. And you mentioned that the state police were there. That would be people that were obviously working with you, right?
Correct.
And do you remember how many state police were there that you were coordinating or assisting?
Per shift, there was 2 of us.
2?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And also there were sheriffs from the Plymouth County Sheriff's Department that were there, right?
So we relieved the sheriffs.
Okay. And how many sheriffs did you relieve?
I don't recall exactly. Probably 2, though.
Okay. And how about Duxbury Police? You recall the Duxbury Police being there?
I do not recall Duxbury Police there.
How about the security cops for the hospital? Do you recall them being there, either in the room or outside the room?
I don't recall them being outside the room.
Do you recall coordinating with the security boss, the head guy for the hospital security?
I recall having some assistance at some point from security to get up there.
Okay. And do you remember how many days it was that you were assisting in the custody situation of Lindsay before she was allowed to have family and me and different people visit with her?
I don't recall exactly how many days.
About a week maybe, or less, or longer?
Less than a week?
Less than a week?
I think, yeah. I don't remember exactly, though.
And even though she was allowed to have visitors, still the police presence was there. Is that correct?
After I left, I'm not sure after I left what the visitation was like.
So when you say after you left, you mean when you left the hospital? You mean after you were finished with your tasked duty of dealing with her security and being under arrest?
Correct. After my assigned shift, I don't.
So after you were involved, obviously you don't know what happened after that.
Correct.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Redirect, Ms. Buckingham.
Sergeant Lawler, in your experience working in the detectives unit as a trooper, is it fair to say you oftentimes will have conversations as investigations are unfolding with other investigators that you're working on a case with about the case, potential evidence, theories of the case?
Yes.
And it's also fair to say that theories change over time based on your investigation and what evidence you find?
Correct.
Was there anything about a conversation that you had with Trooper McGilligan about this theory that affects your testimony as you stand here today?
No.
And you didn't hear anything that occurred in that room that day that you were there when Dr. Zizov was there, did you?
I did not hear anything.
Nothing further.
Just briefly, well, your testimony, basically, unobjected to, is talking about clothes that were seized at the house and the other investigation going to the hospital. That's it, right?
Objection beyond the scope.
Sustained. All right. All right, anything further? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
The Commonwealth would call Letitia Dukes as its next witness, please.
Well, there's Letitia. We've heard that name. Here she comes. I wonder what the jury thought about that. So basically, he's saying, I was at the hospital, and then later on I learned that she had used a phone to call Patrick, and then another officer told me that the working theory is that that doctor told her to say she heard voices as like her reason as to why she did that. But I just am kind of like, I mean, it's just like, okay, again, I'm not understanding why a doctor would do that. Correct me if that's not the gist of it, right?
Good morning. Good morning. All right. I'm going to ask you to keep your voice up and speak into that microphone, okay?
Sure.
All right, thank you. Yes, counsel.
Thank you. Could you please tell the jury your first and last name?
My name is Letitia Dukes.
And how do you spell your first name?
Latiesha.
How do you spell Dukes?
Dukes.
What do you do for work?
So I'm a licensed mental health counselor. I worked as a perinatal clinician at South Shore Hospital.
And what kind of education did you receive in order to do that?
So I have a bachelor's in psychology, a master's in mental health counseling, and a master's of education in mental health counseling.
And you mentioned the South Shore Perinatal Clinic. Do you still work there?
No, I do not currently still work there.
How long did you work there?
I worked there for about 5 years.
What did you do there?
At the perinatal clinic, I worked as a perinatal clinician, which involves like short-term therapy from prior to birth to postpartum, and supported with connection to care, whether that be therapy or higher levels of care, so intensive outpatient therapy, partial hospitalization, or inpatient care.
And do you often collaborate with patients and other clinicians at the clinic or nurses about treatment plans for patients?
Yes.
And do you help to manage the treatment plans with the patient?
Yes.
How do patients, or strike that, for your role at the clinic, doing the therapy and being the clinician, are you often referred patients by the nurse practitioners or somebody else who had seen the patient or did an intake with the patient?
Yes.
And do you work with that prescriber or practitioner over the course of the treatment with that patient?
Yes.
And as far as your role and what you do with patients, is it fair to say that a large amount of your ability to work with the patient is based on your relationship and rapport that you develop with the patient?
Yes.
And do you rely heavily on things that they report to you when you're assessing them diagnostically and trying to help them come up with a treatment plan and offering therapy?
Yes.
And one of the things that might be important in that is to assess a patient's presentation each and every time you meet with them, right?
Yes.
So do you do that in each appointment or each interaction with a patient, assess them for various things?
Yes.
And what kinds of assessments do you perform?
So I typically perform a psychosocial assessment, which is getting their behavioral health history, as well as their current presentation and reason for coming in for therapy. So whether that be a specific diagnosis or current concern, or recent like crisis or trauma, and also a risk assessment that assesses how they're doing in that moment.
Okay. And as far as the therapy component of your interactions, is that largely based on the patient?
Yes.
And what kinds of therapy can you offer in that short-term therapy?
In that short-term therapy, we offer cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy. I also offer something called EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy for patients that have gone through trauma, as well as it could be even short-term support, like a couple of weeks until they're transferred to the appropriate level of care.
And in your sessions with patients, is there a minimum or a maximum time limit?
Typically, our program would go from birth to postpartum up to 2 years. If it did go a little bit over 2 years because of lack of connection to care, then it would go a little beyond that, but typically it's 2 years.
Okay, and that's the duration of your treatment or your interaction with patients. But what about in each appointment that you have? Is there a minimum or maximum time set by the clinic of when you see a patient in a particular visit?
Yes. So do you mean as far as like weekly or like hour, half an hour?
Well, I guess the question is if a patient's coming into you because they were referred and you're meeting with them on a regular basis, how long are the appointments in duration? An hour, half an hour?
So appointments could be anywhere from a half an hour to an hour based on the patient need at that time.
And when you're interacting with a patient and you're making all those assessments, are there tools available to you if you feel or you experience that a patient needs a higher level of care or is heading or is in some sort of crisis? What tools are available to you for that?
So tools that are available to me is connection to my direct supervisor, as well as crisis coordination, as well as like the crisis support numbers that are in that area. So I could either call with the patient or sit with the family, create a safety plan, and the patient can call later on if they feel like they're safe to go home and they have supports at home.
Okay. And at some points, could it be that you would need to involve authorities like the police?
Yes.
And you also are familiar with the Section 12?
Yes.
And then that it's an involuntary procedure where the court gets involved?
Yes.
Now, as far as when you do meet with patients on that regular basis, either for a follow-up or an intake, is it a telehealth situation, an in-person situation?
It depends on what the patient is comfortable with and what the patient is able to do as far as like access. So we offer both in-person and virtual appointments.
Okay. As far as when you first meet with a patient, when they've been referred to you, that first intake procedure, is there a recommendation for whether that be in-person or telehealth?
All the perinatal behavioral health appointments for mental health counseling are in person, that initial visit.
And then the subsequent appointments are oftentimes directed by the patient?
Correct.
Would there be instances where you would insist or prefer that the patient actually come in person if they've elected for telehealth?
Typically, You prefer someone to come in person because they have either like fallen out of care or there are concerns for their safety for some reason.
Okay. And if you don't have those immediate concerns and it's the preference of the patient, do you often engage via telehealth?
Yes.
I'm going to draw your attention to a particular patient by the name of Lindsay Clancy. Do you remember when your first contact was with her?
I remember it was around late November, early December.
Okay. And you're aware that she came to the perinatal clinic and was being initially treated by Julie Paul?
Yes.
And by the time you engaged with her, she had her care had been transferred to Rebecca Gelada, correct?
Yes.
So fair to say you had the most contact with Rebecca Gelada about this particular patient?
Yes.
And if I mentioned December 2nd, does that sound familiar as the first intake with Lindsay Clancy?
Yes, as I said, around late November, early December. So that sounds about right.
Okay. And the intake appointment, was it in person with Lindsay Clancy?
Yes, it was in person.
And what were the services that were being offered for her? Why was she referred to you?
So she was referred to me for postpartum anxiety and depression symptoms. That's what she was referred for.
And in this first intake, did you go through that psychosocial history with Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
And did you have some previous information from an intake with with Julie Paul, or did you do it fresh on your own?
Fresh on my own.
Okay. And so again, this is information that the patient is reporting to you about their history.
Yes.
And so in this instance, you noted that the defendant told you, or Lindsay Clancy told you, that she had had some prior contact with mental health, right?
Yes.
That she had engaged with a psychiatrist in nursing school, and that she had been prescribed medication at that point, correct?
Yes.
And that she, prior to coming to the clinic, that she had been engaged with a psychiatrist.
Yes.
Did she identify what her concerns were, or what concerns were to you?
Yes, she did.
And what were the concerns?
Her presenting concerns were anxiety, lack of sleep, depression symptoms, frequent passive suicidal ideation, thoughts of wanting to die and no longer be here.
Okay. And had she reported to you that she had been on a number of different medications?
Yes.
And you're aware that those medications were being managed by the nurse practitioners in the clinic?
Yes.
And as far as your role as a social worker, do you often kind of get into the weeds with patients about their medication?
So I'm not a social worker. I'm a mental health counselor.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. But I typically have an overview of medications, get into prescribing or how to take medications.
Okay. And so what's the focus of your role in offering counseling services to women with postpartum anxiety and depression at the clinic?
So my role would be to create a treatment plan to address the concerns, which would be like the anxiety and depression symptoms, and work on coping skills and building community supports around that. Or if she needed a referral to a higher level of care, I would do that.
And do you come to your own conclusions as far as diagnosis goes based on your interaction with the patient?
Yes.
And in this first interaction with Ms. Clancy, you got her history. You also did some of those assessments, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And so as far as assessing her present condition, kind of how she presented to you, did you make observations of her mood?
Yes.
And do you recall her mood being low, that she felt numb and unable to laugh?
I apologize. If it's medical record, I don't have any objection, but I prefer not the leading. I have no problem if she reads from the record, though.
All right. If you could just, there's objection, in fact, leading question sustained, but is there any, so there's no objection if this witness, if you want to look at your notes, I don't know if you have your notes with you.
Do they have a copy?
I don't know if the parties have a copy that she could look at.
I do. I could.
Do you have a blank copy?
Well, I mean, it has like a date on it. It doesn't have a lot of notes on it. It just has a name.
I can approach page by page.
All right,
It's fine.
sure, that's fine. So if you need or want to look at the rec, just let us know. We'll do that.
Sure thing. Thank you.
Just gonna show you that page.
Sure.
I can speak that for her.
Sure, yeah.
So, Ms. Dukes, on this particular visit on 12/2, what was her mood?
So she reported having low mood and feeling numb.
Okay. And so you said she reported. So in the note that you're reviewing, these particular questions or these observations that you noted, are they based on her reports to you about these areas?
Yes, and as well as my observation of her.
Okay. So did it appear that her mood was consistent with what she was reporting to you based on your observations?
She appeared to have, if you can say, like normal mood. There was no like tears or sadness, or like there was no blunted interaction. She was able to make eye contact.
Okay. And kind of moving to what's identified in your record as mental status exam.
Yes.
What is a mental status exam?
So a mental status exam is an exam that's assessing how the patient is appearing, what she is reporting, as well as any concerns about safety, which would be any suicidal ideation, homicidal ideation, as well as any intrusive thoughts or worry, any hallucinations or delusions.
Okay. And so in this exam, is it a mixture of what the patient tells you and what you're observing?
Correct.
Okay. And if I can approach you with another page, page 53.
Thank you.
In regards to, on this particular first encounter on December 2nd, when it comes to the mental status exam, were you able to observe her facial expressions?
Yes.
And what were your observations of her facial expressions?
She was cheerful when discussing her anxiety symptoms.
Okay. And did you also ask those questions about thought content? I have to answer out loud.
Yes.
Okay. And so what did she say about thought content?
So thought content, worry about her infant and that she had an addiction to Ativan.
And you said you also, in this assessment, assessed suicidal thoughts, correct?
Correct.
And so did you ask her anything more about those passive thoughts that you indicated she reported?
Yes, and what she reported as far as like passive thoughts were thoughts of not wanting to be here or no longer wanting to live, but no plan.
And is that significant to you, the fact that she identified there was no plan?
Yes.
And why is it significant?
Because if she identified that she in fact had a plan, then that would escalate me to see it as a crisis and request higher level of support at that time.
As far as your observations of her thought process, were those within normal limits?
Yes.
And her intellectual functioning, were those within normal limits?
Yes.
Did she report to you any past attempts to harm herself or others?
No.
Did you go through with her her behavioral health history?
Yes.
And other than what you indicated as the anxiety and sleep, did she identify any concerns around substance abuse issues?
So she did identify concerns about, not in her history, but in that visit, about misuse of Ativan.
And if somebody expresses concern about that substance use, do you have a tool available to you to assess whether they have substance use issues?
Yes, so there is an assessment within the initial intake appointment that has a specific section to further assess substance use disorder.
And did you identify whether she presented with any substance use disorder issues?
I did assess that she did not present with any substance use disorder issues.
And as far as her expressed concern to you, fair to say it was focused on the one particular medication, the medication Ativan, correct?
Yes.
And why did you not find that to be an issue based on your assessment?
Based on my assessment and how she stated she was supposed to be using it, it was used correctly to remedy the anxiety symptoms.
And after this initial intake, I guess the first question is approximately how long is this initial intake appointment?
The initial intake appointment is typically an hour.
And after having spent the hour, gone through these assessments, spoken to her about her history, were you able to come up with or give an opinion about diagnosis?
Yes.
And based on her presentation to you, what was your opinion about diagnosis?
At the time, my opinion about her diagnosis was postpartum anxiety because she had a lot of anxiety about most things.
Okay. And so what were your recommendations as far as a treatment plan for her?
My recommendations at that visit was outpatient therapy, continued medication, and weekly visits with me.
And why did you recommend outpatient therapy on top of therapy with you?
So outpatient therapy was kind of like a blanket therapy, but more so like intensive outpatient therapy, partial hospitalization therapy.
And was your role in offering her weekly sessions an attempt to kind of bridge services and make sure she was getting everything she needed, or something different?
To bridge services.
And so after that meeting with the recommendation for weekly visits, did you begin to schedule additional visits with her?
Yes.
And after that particular visit on December 12th, did you send her any particular information?
Yes.
And how do you do that? How do you send patients information if you're not able to give it to them?
I can send it through my chart messaging.
And on this particular day, after your meeting with her, you sent her some resources about cognitive behavioral therapy, did you not?
Yes.
Your next contact with her was December 5th. Why December 5th, if you had just met with her on the 2nd?
That may have been the soonest available appointment that week for her.
Okay. And it was shy of the 1 week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything in your meeting with her on the 2nd that made it necessary to have a shorter appointment?
No.
This next contact on the 5th, was that in person or telehealth?
Telehealth.
And on this day, on the 5th, when you met with her, did she report some additional information or report how things had gone over the weekend to you?
May I see my notes?
Sure. If it's okay, I'm just going to give her all the pages from that note.
That's fine.
Thank you. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm just reviewing the note.
Sure. Take your time.
And can you repeat the question?
Sure. In that visit on December 5th, did she indicate to you or did she report to you how the weekend went for her?
Yes, she did.
And what did she say about the weekend?
She reported that over the weekend she had a difficult weekend, having intrusive thoughts about wanting to die, and that she had contacted Aspire Crisis Support. She met with the clinician virtually and was told that she did not meet the criteria for inpatient treatment. due to having no SI plan, suicidal ideation plan.
And so when she reported the intrusive thoughts and having a tough weekend, did you follow up with her and begin to kind of talk with her about that?
Yes.
And what did she tell you about what she was feeling in those intrusive thoughts?
So in those times, what she reported was that it was continuous intrusive thoughts of not wanting to be there, but no plan.
Okay.
So kind of like the same report that she gave to crisis.
Okay. And as far as kind of the difficulty of the weekend and how she was feeling, did she tell you how she was feeling?
No.
In that particular meeting, when she had talked about wanting to die or not wanting to be there anymore, did you kind of follow up with her about those statements and whether she had any sort of intent or plan?
Yes.
And did you ask her additional information and complete that full mental status exam?
Yes.
From that meeting? And were there any signs of psychosis or signs of mania or homicidal ideation?
No.
And at the time that you met with her on the 5th, was she currently having those thoughts about wanting to die? If you know?
Just reviewing them.
Sure.
In that visit, she had no suicidal ideation.
And on this particular visit on the 5th via telehealth, did somebody else participate in the visit as well? I could direct you to page 45.
45?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, her husband joined the visit.
And this visit, approximately how long was it, if you recall?
This visit was approximately 30 minutes.
And fair to say, focus of the visit was to kind of deal with that bad weekend and calling
Yes.
the crisis center.
Yes.
So what did you offer her as far as recommendations or assessments or assistance during this meeting?
So support during this meeting, I offered her support in connecting to, it seemed like she needed a higher level of care, so intensive outpatient therapy, partial hospitalization therapy, as well as we reviewed, one of her main concerns was also issues with sleeping. So we reviewed sleep hygiene and how to support better sleep to see if that would help with some of the intrusive thoughts.
Okay. And as far as the recommendation for intensive outpatient or partial hospitalization, did she want to connect with those programs at that time?
At that time, she didn't decline services, but she was interested in the information.
Okay. And so did you agree to send her some information?
At that time, I did not agree to send her information.
Okay. Did she ask for any other information in that meeting?
She did ask for information and support connecting to psychological testing.
And is that something that you do at your clinic, do psychological testing?
Yes.
Okay. And so did you make a referral for her to see somebody else in the clinic, or did you provide her other information?
So I discussed this information with the provider at the time, which was the psychiatrist and medication provider at the time.
Have been Rebecca Gelada?
Yes.
And so did you subsequently send Lindsay Clancy some information about psychological testing?
Yes.
But there was no recommendation for it to be done at the clinic?
No.
Do you know why?
At the time, it sounded like she wanted extra support or like outside opinion as far as like diagnosis and medication.
And was the testing something that she brought up, or did it come out naturally in your conversations with her?
That's something she brought up.
In your meetings, did she discuss medication side effects with you?
Yes.
And what were your observations of her demeanor during this visit?
On the 5th, one second. Her presentation overall was within normal limits. She didn't appear like anxious or different than any other visit I had with her.
And this is kind of your second meeting with her, right?
Yes.
And how many meetings did you have overall with her during the time she was at the clinic, if you know?
4.
So, but you had spent an hour with her on that intake where there's a lot of information exchange, right?
Yes.
So was there anything different about how she presented, how she spoke to you or answered questions during this follow-up on the 5th?
No.
And as far as the conversations about the bad weekend and calling crisis, did you have any concern that she was in crisis?
No.
And you made those recommendations for a higher level of care, correct?
Yes.
But nothing that would have prompted you for those other interventions that you've previously described to us, right?
Right.
Did you ever in this visit see signs of mania?
No.
And is that something you look for?
Yes.
And did you ever see signs of delusions or paranoia?
No.
How about psychosis?
No.
Now, your next contact with her was December 12th, correct?
Yes.
And was that in person or telehealth, if you recall?
Telehealth.
And on the 12th, did you have further conversation with her about your previous recommendations about partial hospitalization programs?
May I review?
Yep.
Thank you.
Am I correct that she said she saw her 4 times?
Yes, we did have further conversation about recommendations.
Okay. And did she indicate to you that she would be starting a program soon?
Yes, she indicated that she would be starting a partial hospitalization program in Norwell on December 20th, 2022.
Did she provide you any details about that program? Do you know?
No, just that she would be starting a program in Norwell.
Had you referred her to any programs in Norwell?
No.
And in this meeting with her, did you continue to talk about her need for higher level of care?
Yes.
And did you make recommendations on a different program?
Look. Yes, I did make a recommendation on women and infants.
And why did you recommend women and infants, or why were you recommending this higher level of care?
I was recommending this higher level of care because of continued passive suicidal ideation, even with crisis intervention, as well as women and infants was more so for postpartum women, and the infant would be able to come to the program with her.
And so the program at Women and Infants is something that you're familiar with working through your clinic, correct?
Yes.
And you often make referrals over there?
Yes.
Do you require the patient's consent to make a referral?
Yes.
Did Lindsay Clancy consent to the referral at that time?
Yes.
And so did you work to make that referral after that visit?
Yes.
Now, you mentioned that she had continued passive suicidal ideation. In this meeting that you had with her, did you assess that?
In this visit particularly, did she have passive suicidal ideation?
Well, do you ask if they still have that?
Yes.
Or if they currently have thoughts of suicide?
Yes.
And in this instance, did she have thoughts of suicide or wanting to die?
Just reviewing. Hold on. So yes, she reported continued suicidal ideation at the time.
But did she ever indicate a plan?
No.
Having met with her on the 12th, did she ever articulate to you that she had made any attempts?
No.
And in your conversation with her on the 12th, were you able to identify any protective factors based on everything that you knew about her at this time? Now, this is your third time with her, right?
Yes.
So what were you able to identify as protective factors for this particular patient?
At this time, she had supports, which were her husband and her mother-in-law. At this time, she was able to, from the past visit I had with her, able to contact crisis when she felt like she needed extra support. So she was able to follow through with suggestions that I had given her in the previous visit.
Okay. And based on your visit with her on the 12th, she accepted a willingness to go to one of those programs, right?
Yes.
Or at least be referred.
Yes.
So was there anything about your interaction with her on December 12th that warranted any of those higher levels of intervention from you?
No.
Now, the next time you met with her was on December 19th, correct?
Yes.
And was that the final time that you met with her?
Yes.
On that day of December 19th, was that in person or a telehealth?
May I review the note?
Sure.
Thank you. That visit was virtual. And what was the question?
That was the question.
Okay.
Thank you. So on this particular visit on the December 19th, did she report any further issues or anything that had happened between the 12th and the 19th that were of concern?
So she was continuing to have low mood and numbness. She did not have any SI and had no need for crisis intervention over that weekend.
Okay. And did she indicate to you that she had been doing things at home to try to help with her mood?
Yes.
And what was she doing?
Let's see. She was spending time with family and her children and exercising.
Now, at this point, as the December 19th rolled around, had you already put in that referral to women and infants?
Yes.
And did you know if she engaged with women and infants by that point?
By that point, women and infants had reached out to her, but she had missed the call, but said she would contact them back.
Okay. Now, one of the concerns that you often talked about in your meetings with her was sleep, right?
Yes.
And in this meeting with her on December 19th, did she report any improvements in her sleep?
No.
Well, if I direct your attention to page 13 at the top of the page where it says risk assessment, there's a category for neurovegetative disturbances. Do you see that?
Yes.
Can you show me what you mean by page 13?
Oh.
What does it say 13?
I'm looking at prior. ones. I don't know, those don't have page numbers, but the one I gave her has. It's December 19th.
Okay.
The last page of her notes.
It's this one here, right?
Yeah?
Okay.
There
Okay.
should be 3 pages. What did you note under neurovegetative disturbances?
I reported that sleep has improved.
And that would be information that's reported to you, correct?
Yes.
You can't make observations of whether somebody's sleep has improved, can you?
No.
Okay. So in this instance, she told you she was going to follow up with the referral, that she was waiting for a call back, that she had improved sleep, but that her mood kind of had remained the same, low mood, numbness, right?
Yes.
Okay. Anything about your interaction with her that day that was different from the prior interactions?
That day, she seemed to be more engaged. She was able to smile. She was able to laugh. And she was enjoying time with family.
And so did you look at that as something positive?
Yes.
Was there anything about your interaction with her on this day, on December 19th, that made you think that you needed to invoke a higher level of care?
No.
As far as in-person visits, did you have any other in-person visits with Lindsay Clancy after the 19th?
No.
Fair to say your contact with her was very limited after that point?
Yes.
And on December 27th, did you have some interaction with her and her husband?
Yes.
And why did you have interaction with them?
May I see the note?
Sure. There's 4 notes.
Thank you.
Can you repeat the question?
On December 27th, why did you have contact with her? Why did you make contact with Lindsay?
I was calling her to inform her that her referral had been completed.
Okay. And so you had a call with her at 10:23, 10:17, going back 9:44. Do you see that in the records that you have, the 4 notes that you have in front of you? They kind of go in reverse order.
Yes.
But prior to the contact about the referral being completed and just reaching out to her and letting her know, did you have a conversation with her husband?
Yes.
And was that at Lindsay's request? Did she give consent for that?
She did give consent for that.
Okay. And fair to say he was reporting concerns of prescriptions, right?
Yes.
And that's not your area in the clinic, is it?
No.
So did you refer him to the prescriber?
At this time, yes, I redirected him to speak to the prescriber.
Okay. And again, in each and every encounter that you've had, did you further recommend that she engage with a higher level of care, either a partial hospitalization program or an outpatient program?
Yes.
Now, at any point that you were interacting with her between December 2nd and the last contact with December 27th, albeit limited, did you ever have any concerns about her physical well-being?
No.
Did you ever have any concerns about the physical well-being of others in her presence?
No.
Did you ever see or observe any signs of mania, delusion, or paranoia?
No.
Any signs of psychosis observed by you?
No.
Did you ever have any difficulty understanding what she was saying or notice any differences in her speech patterns?
No.
Did you ever have any concerns that she wasn't accurately reporting things to you?
No.
And did you ever feel the need to collaborate with your provider for a higher level of care or an additional intervention?
When I did, yes.
And so would that be for the calling the police section 12 or safety?
Hold on. Go ahead. We'll ask that and then we'll.
My question was, in any of the times that you engaged with her, did you ever engage with your provider to come up with a plan for safety planning, section 12, or any other of those interventions you discussed before?
No safety or section 12, no.
So as far as recommendations, would you agree that those were the recommendations for higher level of care?
Yes, for IOP or PHP services.
Okay. And on that last visit that you had with her, she reported doing things outside of the home, right?
Yes.
And that stood out to you?
Yes.
As what?
As an improvement in mood and ability to connect with others.
Thank you. If I may have a moment to put these back together.
Why don't we take the delayed morning break at this point? So hopefully be a little bit shorter than normal, but we'll get you. You can stretch your legs. We'll have you back here in a couple of minutes. Okay.
Court, all rise, please. Sure, it's supposed to go first.
Judge is like, look, we ain't had our break yet.
I can see what you were referring to.
Yeah. I just have to put them back together because they're a little out of order.
So we'll be in a short recess at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
So everybody, we are in a short recess here. This is where you want to smoke if you've got them, as they say. Use the restroom facilities that wherever you're at has to offer. Refill your sippeth from the cuppeth. Readjust your blankie. All those things. I hope everybody's doing well. Now, for those who are just joining, I'll say this real quick, and then I need to run downstairs and let the dogs out. They've slept. They've gotten so quiet next to me. I hate to disturb them. I'm not streaming this afternoon, so I always suggest going to Gigi, Pretty Lies and Alibis, or Joshua Ritter with Courtroom TV live trials. We'll gather back around the sofa like at 7 tonight to go over stuff. And did I scare you, Amy? You're like, I forgot to do the incoming Paul voice. Sorry, everybody. We'll gather back around the sofa at 7 tonight. Now, I'm not ending right now or whatever. We'll continue on, but they're going to knock off for lunch about 1 o'clock. And so that told you that. So I don't know. I can almost assure you that the defense is going to be questioning her for a while. Lots of so common be it terrifying, right? Lots of keywords that she said that we already know the defense is like, we just don't do that. We don't say that. He, of course, but I'll say this. I've been curious to hear from this type of a therapist, like not a medication therapist, not a psychiatrist, but like a therapist, right? And to hear with the notes that they make, because this is somebody sitting down with Lindsay way longer. Mind you, it was only 4 visits. But I think that this person is going to be somebody the defense really wants to cross-examine. So we'll see. Anyways, I'm going to mute and take the dogs downstairs, and then I'll be right back. And turn the camera off. I will, Tux. Thank you.
Court is back in session. You may be seated.
All right. We all set for the jury?
Yes.
Court, all rise. Jurors entering.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Okay,
Court's now in session. Please be seated.
here we go.
Your Honor, for the purpose of the record, we return back to the trial of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. All parties are present, including the defendant and including the 18 jurors.
All right. Counsel?
Thank you, Your Honor. Morning.
Good morning.
So, can you tell me, is it 4 times that you yourself actually met with Lindsay or more?
Can you repeat that?
I'm sorry. Was it 4 times that you actually met with Lindsay or more? And that would include telehealth.
4.
4
Yes.
times. Okay. You met with her on the 2nd of December, right?
Yes.
And you met with her on the 12th of December, is that right?
Yes.
You met with her on the 19th of December, right?
Yes.
And is it the 27th as well? Was there another one? Do you remember when that was?
That was by phone.
By phone. Would that be the 27th?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is give you the documents that the district attorney is questioning you from, so that you can actually have them in front of you, okay?
Thank you.
And you can slide up and just... And if I get confused or something, just let me know that you're on a different page than me. Couple of background questions. When you met with Lindsay, for example, on the 2nd of December, you were at least able to look at the records of Nurse Paul as well as Nurse Gelada, right?
No.
Oh. I mean, you guys work in the same place though, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when a woman is in postpartum and comes to social health for help, when you're trying to help them, you can't see the medical records from what the other people like Nurse Paul and Nurse Gelada have written down?
You can see the records, yes.
You can?
Yes.
Okay, so you did look at the records?
I did not look at the records.
Okay. On the 2nd of December, and you can look along with it if you wish, looking under what would be referred to as behavioral health intake. Your pages are numbered, mine are not, so if you can find that one page, behavioral health intake on December 2nd. And the jurors will have this as an exhibit, but just going through the pages. You have it?
1 second. Yes, I have it.
Okay. Now, one of the things that you would be interested in when you're interacting with a patient that comes to your facility for help is how honest they are, right?
Yes.
Especially in psychiatry. You want to make sure that the person is not lying to you or hiding something. You want them to be honest, right?
Yes.
And for example, Lindsay disclosed to you and to the others that back in 2012, while she was in nursing school, she actually had Prozac because she was very nervous, actually, about public speaking, but she was on Prozac, right?
1 second.
Sure. I think it's right under behavioral health history, first paragraph.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And she also told you that she had been prescribed Ativan, for example, by a psychiatrist, Jennifer Tufts, right?
Just reviewing.
Second paragraph.
So, no, that's not what I see here.
Okay, do you see where it says prior to attending the SHORE program, sentence, second paragraph?
Yes.
Patient was prescribed Ativan by psychiatrist Jennifer Tufts?
It says here she was prescribed Zoloft.
Well, I must be misreading something. I apologize. Let me approach you. This is what I have here. History and current functioning, right? History and current, okay. And then behavioral health history, paragraph 1, right? References to Prozac, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But it doesn't say.
Second
You said Dr. Tufts?
No, I was saying the second paragraph, prior to attending SHORE program, she disclosed to you that she was prescribed Ativan, right?
So which one are you on?
Second paragraph, right here.
Okay.
Yeah. Prior to attending SHORE program, patient was prescribed Ativan, right?
Yes.
Okay, and that was by Dr. Tufts, right?
Yes.
So she told you that she was prescribed benzodiazepine by her treating psychiatrist, and further on into your interaction with her, she told you that she was very concerned about taking medication, right?
Yes.
And she was really concerned about becoming addicted to medication, such as a benzo, like Ativan, right?
She was concerned about becoming addicted to medication, yes.
All right, in the very last paragraph, it says, when no longer taking Ativan. You see that one?
Yes.
Okay, she then explained that, she had issues with the sleep, and she started having heart palpitations, and she went to the ER for anxiety. Is that right?
Correct.
And at that time, she told you that she felt that she had an addiction to Ativan. That's why she couldn't sleep, right?
Yes.
And she was stressing about that, was really concerned about that, right?
Yes.
She then said that she had weight loss, right?
Yes.
No appetite, right?
Correct.
Panic attacks, right?
Right.
Couldn't sleep, right?
Yes.
Next page, December 2nd, office visit, the same visit. First paragraph, she was prescribed Remeron and Seroquel in the past 4 days, right?
I'm sorry, this is a different date on this one. What date do you have?
Okay. So the next page.
Mine, it goes to 12/5.
Okay, all right, let's look at this one then. Would you agree that this is a record from South Shore Health that talks about continuing your appointment December 2nd?
Yes.
Okay. If you can find
I think
that.
they were just out of order. Here it is.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine, that's no problem. That's not your fault. So are you with me on that she was prescribed Remeron and Seroquel?
Yes.
Okay. And that was within the last 4 days. Is that right?
Yes.
So when you saw her on December 2nd, after telling you about the Ativan and telling you about her weight loss and her anxiety and everything else, she told you that she had been prescribed Remeron and Seroquel. And I understand you don't do the drugs, so you don't really have.
No, I don't do medication.
Very difficult to get the brand names and the other names, but we have a chat for that. So she started Remeron and Seroquel, and then she told you that since starting the medication, she's had thoughts that she no longer wants to be here, meaning, I guess, what, on the earth?
No longer wanting to be here could mean anything. But in that instance, when assessing for suicidal ideation, no longer want to be here qualifies as passive suicidal ideation.
Okay. And then she indicates further that this week, she was seeing you, feels like she's going to die. That's what the DA read to you, right?
Yes.
But then it goes on and says, but she doesn't care if she dies, basically. She feels like she's going to die, but she doesn't care. She said that, right?
Yes.
She then talked about how the Remeron and Seroquel were not helping her sleep. Yesterday, she took Ativan, she told you, right?
Yes.
Due to intrusive SI, suicidal ideation thoughts, right?
Yes.
Did she indicate what the intrusive suicidal ideation thoughts were yesterday, which would be December 1st? Did she tell you what that meant? Did you ask her what she meant by that?
I did ask her what she meant, and that would mean that she had the thoughts that she told me about no longer wanting to be here.
Okay. And you then told her that she could go to the ER and that you then sent her local crisis contact information. Is that right?
Yes.
And then talks about onset. Says 3 months after the baby was born, she had unmanageable anxiety, correct?
Correct.
And what did she tell you the anxiety was about?
1 second.
Yep. It's under onset.
And what was the question?
Under onset, she indicated 3 months after the baby was born, she had unmanageable anxiety, is what
Yes.
the district attorney asked you. And then it continued on with a sentence. What was her anxiety about?
Her children, especially the baby.
And what does that mean? That she was having unmanageable anxiety? Do you know, what does unmanageable mean?
So constantly worried that something was going to happen to her children or something bad was going to happen to the baby.
And at that time, the children were 4, 3, and 6 months, right?
Correct.
Under social, the notes indicate that she talks about her anxiety all the time with her mom, husband, and mother-in-law, correct?
Correct.
Questions the DA asked you is about her support, family supports, or collateral contacts, and you indicated the mother-in-law. She also had her mother and father as family support as well, right?
Correct.
And you knew that her mother and father had actually lived in Connecticut, but moved up or came up and stayed with her for at least a week, if not longer, during December, right? If you know. And I know it's difficult if it's not in the notes for you to remember. I'm just asking, do you remember at all that she said that her mother and father came up and stayed with her to help out?
I don't remember that.
Okay. She further went on and said that she's uninterested in other topics from friends. What did that mean? She just didn't want to talk to her friends about anything?
She just had a lack of interest in conversation with friends.
And that would be her social circle. She just didn't care, right?
Right.
She said that she felt numb, right?
Yes.
She had a lack of attention, right?
Right.
Confusion, right?
Right.
Under mood, it says, well, of course, you have disturbed sleep. She's only sleeping 2 to 4 hours a night is what she told you, right?
Correct.
And then it says supports. Mother and father have been staying with her for the past week. Does that refresh your memory that you did get that info, that they were staying with her for the past week?
Yes.
That's fine. I just saw that too, so no problem. You took her history, that she was a nurse, that she had been on leave, and she told you that she lost 10 pounds in the past month, right?
Correct.
Now, can you flip to the next page and make sure we're both on the same page? On the substance use assessment, do you have that?
1 second.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things that you're concerned about is whether or not your patient has a substance abuse problem, like drugs or alcohol or something like that, right?
Correct.
And you've already told us that your opinion was that Lindsay did not have any substance abuse problems other than her fear about the prescribed Ativan, right?
Correct.
So did you ask her about alcohol?
Yes.
Can you tell me what she said about alcohol?
She said the last time she drank alcohol was in October of 2019.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Did she tell you how much, what it is that her alcohol of choice was?
She said her alcohol of choice was wine. She would have 1 to 2 glasses.
Did she say why she would do that?
To cope with anxiety.
Okay, and this is back in 2019, right?
Correct.
That would be 3 years before you actually met with her in December of 22, right?
Correct.
Cannabis, the
Yes.
weed, the devil's lettuce. How about that? Did she confess that she was using marijuana?
Yes, she said she did use marijuana.
When?
Last use was November 15th, 2022.
Why?
I'm sorry?
Why did she say that she used it? It's under comments?
Yes, I'm taking it.
That's okay.
She said she tried a marijuana gummy to help with sleep.
And that was on November 15th of 22, right?
Yes.
Go to the next page, assessment and recommendation. If you have that, make sure we have it.
Yes.
Okay. And I think the district attorney had asked you about the mental status exam facial expression, and you indicated that her facial expression showed anxiety, right?
Correct.
Fear, right?
Yes.
Do you know what the fear was?
Just going back to that part of the
Sure,
assessment.
yep. It's under facial expression.
And you said facial expressions,
Yes,
right?
Yes, please, yep.
Anxiety, fear, apprehension, sadness.
Okay, so if I can, I apologize. If you just keep you're very soft-spoken.
Yes, I'll walk.
Voice up so the jurors can hear you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And you said that her facial expression exported to you anxiety, right?
Correct.
Fear of something, right?
Yes.
Apprehension, right?
Yes.
Sadness.
Yes.
Depression.
Yes.
And she expressed that she was having anxiety and numbness, right?
Yes.
And she was crying when she was telling you this, right?
Yes.
And again, indicated that her thoughts were worried about her baby, the new baby she had, the infant, as well as if she's being addicted to Ativan, is what she told you, right?
Yes.
And again, thoughts of wanting to die, but there was no plan.
Correct.
Next page, risk assessment. There's a whole lot of stuff on it, these pages. I'm just trying to cut to the chase here. So you see where it says risk assessment?
I am trying to find
Okay.
it. 1 second.
Yep. Under it's under risk assessment.
I'm taking a look.
Okay.
I see protective factors, but I don't see risk assessment.
Okay, let me ask you, under risk assessment on December 2nd, when you asked me about that, at that point that she, just so you can see here, she again admitted to suicidal ideation, right?
Yes.
It was passive.
Yes.
It says plan to go to ER if she feels unsafe or has a plan, right?
Yes.
And then farther down, you have current medications, and she was on quetiapine or Seroquel, right?
Yes.
Fluoxetine or Prozac, right?
Correct.
Lorazepam or Ativan, right?
Yes.
Mirtazapine or Remeron, right?
Yes.
And that was all active prescriptions that she right?
Yes.
Told you that she is seeking counseling for postpartum anxiety, right?
Yes.
Do you have on December 2nd, continuing on with your evaluation, where it says clinical notes? Do you have the clinical notes?
1 second.
What I could do is read what I have rather than stand next to you. And I'm not misrepresenting it. I mean, I'm just reading off of this to make it quicker for you. If
Okay.
it refreshes your memory. If it doesn't, I can walk up and show it to you, okay?
Okay.
On that day, your notes say patient requested addiction support services. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And that you indicated that you would be sending patient addiction support resources by my chart or the message thing, right?
Correct.
You then indicate that based on history reported, patient meets the criteria for postpartum anxiety, right?
Yes.
That she would benefit from OP therapy. What does that mean?
Yes, from outpatient therapy services. Yes, partial hospitalization program.
IOP.
Intensive outpatient program.
And that you then helped her out by bridging the therapy services, right?
Yes.
You then noted again postpartum anxiety on December 2nd, according to your notes, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you know that she had been seeking and receiving therapy? I don't know if that's therapy or counseling or that type of thing. Like there's a woman that works in your business that provides therapy, right?
Yeah, so that person would be me.
So did she come to see you for therapy?
Yes.
How many times?
4.
So is it fair to say that she was more than willing to accept help from somebody like you?
Yes.
She didn't appear to be avoiding any therapy when recommended, right? If you could, Ms. Dukes, please look at, I think it was December 12th was the next time perhaps that you saw her. Unless it's there's another intervening period.
So there's December 12th, and then there's December 5th.
Oh, okay. So if you could pull out December 5th.
Yes.
And if I can come up and look at it.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So on December 5th, again, you were meeting with her for therapeutic intervention, right?
Yes.
And that on this occasion, she reported she had a difficult weekend, right?
Yes.
Intrusive thoughts of wanting to die, right?
Yes.
That she contacted Aspire Crisis Support, right?
Yes.
She met with an Aspire clinician, right?
Yes.
And what happened when she met with the Aspire clinician?
She met with the clinician virtually and was told that she did not meet the criteria for inpatient treatment due to not having any suicidal ideation plan.
So if she said, in addition to the fact that she's been in counseling and therapy and seeing psychiatrists and on medications for the past 3 months or whatever the period ultimately would be, and that she wanted to kill herself, didn't want to be here, couldn't care if she died, they told her because she didn't have a plan that they couldn't help her?
Correct.
Did they, to your knowledge, make any recommendations? Or did they recommended that she attend a day program?
Yes.
All right. And that person from Aspire then said he would send her patient resources, right?
Correct.
But nothing ever happened. He never sent her any. You did, but he never sent her any patient resources, right? If you know.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. All right. So she had you at least to talk to and counsel and advise her. You continued on to make your observations. Fair to say that pretty much things stayed the same as far as her appearance, appearing anxious, appearing sad, unable to relate to people, that type of thing?
Correct.
Okay. Then you have, as a chief complaint of present illness. And again, that was, oh, wait a minute.
That's not my note.
That's not you. Okay. All right, so you can hold on to that.
Yep, thank you.
Next time you saw her would be December 12th. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, on December 12th, that was a teleconference that she had called by an appointment with you?
Yes.
And at that point, she reported that she had a difficult weekend and was experiencing intrusive thoughts of wanting to. Do you have it in front of you? I don't want to take advantage of it.
Hold on one second.
Yep.
I don't see the 12th in here.
Okay. Page 28.
Page 28.
And just for the record, I think, Your Honor, that she's looking at the actual exhibit. Am I right? That's the exhibit? That's in evidence? Can it be in evidence? Can I offer that? Yeah. Okay. Can I offer that?
Any objection? Sure. Yeah. Yeah, if I could just say it.
Yes.
Wait, what are we what are we doing? What are we doing now? Where we would go again? What's going on up in here? Why did all this take place? Yeah, she's gonna be up there for a while. Maybe not a while, but a while. With talking about the devil's lettuce, the marijuana. We're at the sidebar. That is what we do when we go to the sidebar. Shooby-dooby-doo. Hello, everybody just joining. I hope everybody's doing well. So just, again, heads up for people who might have just joined or haven't been here today or whatever. We're going to be streaming until the lunch break, and then we'll talk for a few minutes when they go to lunch, and then I'm not streaming this afternoon, and then we'll reconvene around the sofa to catch up on what took place, mostly for me if y'all are going to watch elsewhere, what took place in this trial, what's going on with the jury selection in the Tupac trial, as well as the Shauna Gardner or Mario Fernandez, I guess he's her husband, or maybe, I don't know, the man who killed her husband, allegedly, her ex-husband. That's coming up in the background or whatever, so I want to see what that. And yeah, so we'll be doing all that. I hope everybody's been doing well. Hope everybody's been doing swell. And so we'll just see. It's been kind of like a slow morning. Now, again, the person who's on the stand, she actually was having like sit down therapeutic sessions with Lindsay. Mind you, what was it, 3 or 4 sessions? So it wasn't like a ton or whatever. Now, the first thing that surprised me with this is when she was talking and he was like, so you couldn't access the files from Gelada and the other person that she worked with at the same facility. And hold on, about the OD attempt. Hold on, what's that? About the overdose? I don't remember. What are you talking about? Oh, but when she was talking about I didn't look at the notes, and he's like, oh, you didn't have access to them, and she's like, well, no, I didn't look at them. And again, I'm kind of in that context. I mean, I don't know, but I don't know if you can do that in that situation. It seems like, to me, it's like, oh wait, hold on.
Do you have December 12th? Again, I could do what I did before.
She probably had it before.
Right, yeah. It references providers' interventions, and that would that be you, provider?
Correct.
Okay. And you're talking about symptom management, and yet again, she's reporting she had a difficult weekend, experienced intrusive thoughts, wanted to die, didn't have a plan for suicidal plan, but she contacted crisis over the weekend, and that would be, again, Aspire, apparently, right? There were 2 times she contacted Aspire, not once.
Correct.
Twice. Both times they told her that there's nothing they could do for her, right?
Correct.
And she told you that she was going to start a PHP in Norwell on December 20th, right?
Correct.
But in fact, you were able to, knowing people that you may have and pull strings, you were able to try to get her into the Rhode Island Women and Infants program, right?
Correct.
Which is a really pretty good program.
Correct.
And did you know that she did, in fact, go to Women and Infants on December 20th? She didn't go to the Norwell program. She went to Women and Infants program, and that she was there for the day and that they basically turned her away.
I did know that she went to the Women and Infants program. I was not sure of the date.
Okay. So if I suggest to you it was the same date that she had told you that she was going to go to the program in Norwell on December 20th, and then that you and Nicole Harden Francis reviewed various options, one of which was that, which made sense, to attend the Women and Infants program, IOP or PHP program, right?
Correct.
And that she, patient, provided you with verbal consent.
Correct.
To sign whatever had to be signed and get her into that program, right?
Correct.
So you know that she did on December 20th, after not getting anywhere with Aspire ×2 and after dealing with Gelada for all those times that she dealt with her, the other one, Tufts, you were trying to get her into this program, which would be pretty good for a woman that had postpartum problems, right?
Correct.
And you made your referral, you opened the door for her, and she got in there to at least be interviewed, right?
Correct.
And they didn't take her, right?
Correct.
You know why?
I am not aware as to why.
Would you be surprised if I told you that they indicated that they could not help her out because their diagnosis or secondary diagnosis was that she was over-medicated?
Repeat the question.
Would it surprise you to know that they indicated that they couldn't treat her as a woman with postpartum psychosis or postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety or any of that, because their opinion was that she was suffering from an over-medication?
It would surprise me, yes.
But you don't know?
I do not know.
Okay. Did you know that the records from Women and Infants indicate that, in fact, on that very same day, they reached out to Nurse Gelada and asked her to call them so that they could discuss the medication, and Gelada never got back to her?
I was not aware of that.
I'm sorry?
I was not aware of that.
Okay. I think the district attorney had asked you a question about the last time that you saw her or had any activity with her was on December 19th. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And I may have misunderstood. Did she ask you, did you call Lindsay 4 times and she never got back to you that day? Or is that just a list of different things that you did for her?
That's a list of different things that I did for her that day.
Okay. So you were calling other contacts. You were talking to Patrick. You would contact her. I mean, she certainly was not avoiding you. That's
yes, we were in communication.
All right. You're familiar with, maybe you are, the what's called the Edinburgh scale?
I'm aware of it, yes.
And did she have the Edinburgh scale administered to her, to your knowledge?
To my knowledge, no.
Okay. What is polypharmacy? What does that mean?
Polypharmacy?
Yeah. You ever heard of that? Polypharmacy?
I've heard of it, but not sure of the exact definition.
Okay. Is it something to do with having too much medications thrown at you all at once? If you know.
No, I'm not sure.
Not sure. Okay. Excuse me for 1 minute. Apologize. I just had something pulled up and it just went back to default on me. So I just need a second. I apologize. Okay, I get it. And how long have you been working in your particular field?
Since 2011.
Okay. And you have obviously a very impressive background as far as your educational background and your experience. Do you continue to, like, with continuing education?
Yes.
Have you ever been aware, are you aware of the Mass General Hospital Center for Women's Mental Health?
I'm aware of it, yes.
Do they offer seminars and programs as well as research articles?
I believe they do.
Okay. Do you know that Mass General Center for Women's Mental Health about a year ago issued a fairly major study and various recommendations for people that are dealing with women that have postpartum periods and how they break up the periods. You familiar with that?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
So if I suggest to you that in that particular Mass General Hospital article, it goes on about postpartum period, and do you agree that the postpartum period, 85% of women that are pregnant or after pregnancy experience some type of mood disturbance? Would you agree with that?
No, I wouldn't agree with that.
All right. Would you agree that 10 to 15% of women develop more significant symptoms of depression or anxiety?
I agree.
Okay. And then postpartum psychiatric illness is then divided into 3 categories. One sounds like something out of the 50s, postpartum blues. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
You've heard that expression before,
Correct.
right? And it can be bothersome, it can be aggravating, it can be intrusive, but it's not threatening the life of the mother or a baby or anybody else, right?
Correct.
And it's fairly common, right?
Correct.
Number 2 would be postpartum depression. Now, that's a different issue, correct?
Yes.
And number 3 would be postpartum psychosis. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. Now, postpartum depression, prior to morphing, if you will, into postpartum psychosis, consists of a number of symptomology, right? For you to diagnose a woman, whether she's pregnant, has the baby, or after having the baby, with postpartum depression, there are certain things that are symptoms that you look for, right?
Correct.
Okay. One of which would be depressed or sad mood, right?
Yes.
Lindsay had that, right?
Yes.
Next would be tearfulness, right?
Yes.
Lindsay had that, right?
Correct.
Next one would be loss of interest in social activities or usual activities or friends. She had that, right?
Correct.
Feelings of guilt. She had that, right?
She didn't express feelings of guilt.
Okay. Feelings of worthlessness. Did she express that she felt worthless?
She did not express that.
How about fatigue? Did she have that?
She did not express fatigue, but lack of sleep.
I know lack of sleep. Were you aware that, in fact, that she had indicated that she was so wiped out that she couldn't even get out of bed, couldn't put her feet on the ground, and if she did, she felt heavy?
I did not hear that from her.
Okay. How about, you mentioned it, you got it, sleep disturbance is another issue, correct?
Correct.
She had that, right?
Yes.
Change in appetite, she had that, lost 10, 15 pounds, right?
Yes.
Poor concentration, she had that, right? She said she was numb. She could not focus. Suicidal thoughts,
yes.
We know she didn't have a plan, but she had suicidal thoughts, right?
Correct.
So under the Mass General Hospital research project for women that are suffering from postpartum issues, she pretty much hit every one of the postpartum depression symptoms, correct?
Correct.
And then it talks about if it increases in severity, significant anxiety symptoms may occur. Not generalized anxiety. Significant anxiety symptoms can occur. Is that right?
Correct.
And one of the ways that you determine that is by the tests that it can be administered to a person who is in a postpartum status. And that would be what we talked about, the Edinburgh test, right?
Correct.
And you're aware that she was given the Edinburgh test and had a 23 out of 30, I think it was.
I was not aware.
Okay. And some women develop panic attacks referred to as hypochondriasis. You'd agree with that, right?
Agree with that in reference to.
Lindsay, she had panic attacks and complained of having panic attacks.
Yes.
Okay. And then you can get into the various diagnoses of which, on a postpartum person in that time frame, obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, right?
Correct.
Or bipolar 1 or bipolar 2, right?
Are you using them interchangeably or could develop?
Trust me, let's say bipolar 1,
Yeah.
okay? So that would be one mental disease, correct?
Correct.
And it's pretty serious stuff, right?
Yes.
And if a person is diagnosed as bipolar, one of the things that you shouldn't, if you know, is prescribe SSRIs such as Prozac or Zoloft, right? If you know.
I'm not sure of that.
Okay. Would you agree that with various cases dealing with postpartum depression, all of the symptoms that we talked about, they utilize the Edinburgh Postnatal Depression Scale, which is a 10-item questionnaire that can identify women that have postpartum depression and the severity that they have. And on the scale, a score of 12 or greater it raises concern and indicates a need for more thorough evaluation, right?
Correct.
Do you know whether she was thoroughly evaluated by anybody other than Tufts and Gelada?
I'm only aware of Tufts and Gelada.
Okay. I mean, you were trying to do the best you could with what you had to work with, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now we get to postpartum psychosis. That's the third category, right? Postpartum psychosis, you'd agree, is the most severe form of postpartum psychiatric illness. Is that right?
Correct.
Would you agree that it occurs in averages about 2 out of 1,000 women, right?
Correct.
And its presentation can be very dramatic with onset of symptoms, and that can be within a year, according to the CDC, Center for Disease Control, yes. Right? Okay. And when it hits you, it just hits you, bang, quick, right?
Correct.
And when you think about 2 out of 1,000 people, seems like a daunting number, but if I tell you that Fenway Park, when they're full, when they're playing the Yankees, they have 37,700 people. If you take the 37,000 people and you multiply it by 2, that would mean as you're sitting there behind first base, 74 women possibly have postpartum psychosis, right?
Not sure of that number, but.
Well, if you agree that it's 2 out of 1,000 according to the studies and the statistics, and if Fenway Park has 37,000 seats, times 2 would be 74.
Okay.
That's a pretty large number of people, right? 74 people out of that crowd? Okay. It's not that horribly unusual. I mean, it's something that perhaps you've dealt with in your practice, right?
Yes.
And when you're dealing with people with postpartum psychosis, do you agree that generally they present with an episode of bipolar illness? If you know.
No.
No, they don't, or no, you don't know?
No, I don't know.
Okay. Bottom line is, from your dealing with Lindsay, she appeared to be sincere, right?
Correct.
She appeared to be looking for help, right?
Correct.
She appeared to be hurting, right?
Yes.
Turning in every direction she could for help, right?
Correct.
And the last time you saw her was when?
December 19th.
Okay, thank you very much.
Attorney Buckingham.
Briefly, please.
Ms. Dukes, you indicated that you didn't review the records of Nurse Paula or Nurse Gelada.
Correct.
Why?
I wanted to have a fresh set of eyes to look at the situation and to assess it when she came in for her visit. That's typical practice.
And that's why you do an entirely new process, right? Where you do your own intake, you assess diagnostics for determining whether there's any sort of mental illness, right?
Correct.
And while you can collaborate or speak with the providers about an overall treatment for the patient, your therapy is your therapy.
Correct.
And as far as your role, you don't have any role in medication management, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay. And so when the note read current medications, is that just based on what pre-fills for the patient based on their historical records for the clinic?
Yes.
And so you don't know what she was prescribed and when, and if all of those prescriptions were active. You just know what's in the computer.
Correct.
And as far as the timeline here for the recommendations for partial hospitalization, I just want to make sure that we're clear. You had been for some time recommending some sort of partial hospitalization program, correct?
Correct.
And on December 12th, you had already talked to Lindsay Clancy about the Women and Infants program, had you not?
Correct.
And so when she told you on the 12th that she was starting that program in Norwell, that wasn't from your referral, right?
No.
And you still recommended Women and Infants.
Correct.
And you got her consent on that visit, right?
Yes.
And on the 19th, when you saw her, were you aware that she had been at the Mass General ER on December 15th for evaluation?
No.
And that she had reported then to them that she opted for an outpatient program at Women and Infants as opposed to going inpatient to McLean? Did you know that?
I wasn't aware of that.
Okay. And when you met with her on the 19th, after the visit to the ER, she still hadn't engaged with Women and Infants, had she?
No.
And so you had to re-refer her.
Yes.
But you weren't aware that she had already gotten a referral from Mass General?
No.
And so you did later learn she went on December 20th, correct?
Correct.
And were you able to review those records about this visit to the 20th? So you don't know that the ultimate plan and assessment for her was that they didn't think she qualified for the program, but they provided her with several options for other inpatient treatments for medication management, partial hospitalization, and general mental health. Did you know that?
No.
And as of your last meeting with her on December 19th, ultimately, what were your impressions of how she was doing?
My impression was that her symptoms were improving because of the social aspects, spending time with family and friends and able to exercise when before it was difficult for her to engage or pay attention.
And your observations of her while you were interacting with her, were they more positive than on previous occasions?
Yes, she was able to smile and laugh.
Okay, thank you.
What was she laughing about? When was it she was laughing with you?
I believe that was the last visit, the 19th.
So on the 19th, it was on television or was it in person?
It was a virtual visit, a video
virtual visit.
Yes.
And on the 19th, on the virtual visit, what was the purpose of that visit?
The purpose of that visit was to see if she was able to connect with care.
Okay. So you would have, I guess, in your notes or reference to the fact that on the 19th of December that she was laughing.
Not that she was laughing, but that she was able to laugh.
Able to laugh.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm looking here on December 19th, telemedicine, apologize, Dukes, perinatal behavior health program, and you talk in that form about the date of the service, December 19th, psychotherapy, PCP, Margaret, that would be the primary care, Margaret Anastasia. Perinatal behavioral health program, you talk with the quote, if this is telehealth visit, please dot the phrase video visit, whatever. Therapeutic intervention, she's 32 years old, married, female, presents for postpartum anxiety. Symptom management, patient continues to have low mood and numbness. Was she laughing when she had numbness?
What date are you looking at?
December last day you saw her, or the last time you had any contact with her?
She didn't appear to have that, no.
She didn't appear to have what, laughing or numbness?
Numbness.
Well, it says right in the notes, does it not? The patient continues to have low mood and numbness.
Yes.
Okay. I don't want you to say yes unless I can show it to you. So, right here. Patient continues to have low mood and numbness, right?
Correct.
Patient has not had suicidal ideation and did not need crisis intervention over the weekend. In other words, she didn't kill herself, right?
Correct.
To help with the mood, patient has been spending time with her husband, children, and exercising, right?
Yes.
And exercise is one of the things that you would generally, your people would generally recommend that the mother do, right?
Correct.
That's a good thing to try to do, is to exercise, right?
Correct.
So the fact that the government has records that show that she would take her kids or her husband would take her kids, or they would go to a local gym and exercise or swim, that's consistent with what she was advised, right?
Correct.
It doesn't mean that she's just out there having a good time exercising, right?
Objection.
No, overall.
She was told that that's a good thing to do, right?
She was told that that was a good thing to do, but the fact that she's able to follow through and do it shows improvement.
Oh, okay. So when did she go to the gym?
She didn't give me exact dates. These are things that she told me she did.
Did you ever ask her, if you're telling me that, this is showing improvement, is it in the records? Does it indicate that you asked her if she was exercising? And if so, where and when?
So we don't write down everything that we talk about in the meeting. Is particularly a summary of that visit.
Okay. And all I did was ask you about the patient was spending time with her husband, children, and exercising. And then you said that that's an indication that she's improving.
Correct.
Okay. And then I asked you if she's going to a gym. That's not a bad thing, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay. And then it says that she received a call, and counsel asked you about this. She received a call from women and infants, but missed the call. Do you remember that? Remember the DA asking you that question? You said that she missed the call.
Yes.
She didn't continue to read that the reason she missed the call is that she was at another medical appointment, right?
Correct.
And she called you back, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Clinician, that'd be you, provided contact information for women and infants. Patient reported that she would contact them today, being December 19th, but in fact, she did, and you did back it up. She did with your help, and she then went the following day on the 20th, right?
Correct.
Okay. And finally, fair to say that nowhere in here does it say that she was laughing?
You would have to go to the assessment, the risk assessment.
Okay. Got it? Let me see, please. Okay. Now, what's a mental status exam?
So a mental status exam is to assess how the person is appearing that day, their mood and their interaction with you in that visit and how you perceive them.
Okay. So, with the help from the DA, we have December 19th, the telemedicine form, clinical notes, right?
Yes.
The laughing wouldn't be in that area, would it?
No, it would be more so in this area.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Mental status exam, right?
Mm-hmm.
Appearance, hygiene, WNL.
Within normal limits.
Okay. Clothing normal, eye contact normal, build normal, posture normal, body movement normal, right?
Yes.
Behavior is cooperative, right?
Yes.
And speech is within normal limits, is that correct?
Correct.
Emotional state, affect. Patient reports feeling numb and having low mood for most of the day, right?
Yes.
Facial expression, other. Facial expression, calm, was able to laugh and smile, right?
Yes.
Would that be in response to you saying something funny, or why was she laughing?
That would be in response to me saying something funny.
So you guys were kind of bonding a little bit.
Yes.
All right. But she basically still continued to report that she was numb, having low mood, and basically the symptomology that she had already reported, right?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
All right, Como?
Nothing further, thank you.
All right, thank you. No, thank you. All right, Como, do you want to call your next witness?
I'm also call Cameron Daly as its next witness, please.
Incoming Paul voice. Legitimately shocked that the judge didn't say, let's go ahead to lunch. He's got that hard part. You know they'll do a bar for that hard part. He drove his car up the hard part.
Thank you, sir. You may have a seat.
All right, good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Buckingham, please.
Thank you. Sir, could you please tell the jury your first and last name?
Cameron Daly,
And how do you spell your first name?
Cameron.
And can you just spell your last name for the record?
Daley.
And where do you work?
Duxbury Police Department.
How long have you been there?
6.5 years.
And back in January of 2023, what was your assignment then?
Patrolman.
And I'm going to draw your attention specifically to January 24th, 2023. Were you asked to do a particular assignment out of Duxbury in that evening?
Yes.
And what were you asked to do?
Report to Brigham and Women's Hospital
And why were you going there?
for hospital watch of the suspect.
And that individual was Lindsay Clancy?
Correct.
Was there already a Duxbury officer on scene at Brigham and Women's when you got there?
Yes, 2.
2?
Yes.
And who were they?
Officer Lepard and Officer Broderick.
And when you arrived at the Brigham and Women's Hospital, were you by yourself or was there somebody else with you?
I was with another officer, Officer Thomas Johnson.
Okay. And were you able to make observations of the suspect, of the defendant, Lindsay Clancy, on that day?
Yes.
And she was asleep, was she not?
Correct.
And she had medical devices attached to her?
Yes.
Was she being treated by the medical staff there at Brigham?
Yes, periodically.
And were you inside or outside the room, if you know?
Outside the room.
And were any visitors or any other people other than the medical staff in that room with her while you were there?
No.
And from the 24th into the 25th, what time did you leave the next day on the 25th?
So I reported to the hospital on the 25th.
Oh, okay.
I was there. I arrived at 10 a.m.
So your shift there at the hospital was what?
I got there at 10 a.m. I left about 7 p.m. that night, but it was an 8 to 4 scheduled patrol shift.
Okay. And you said that was on the 25th?
Correct.
And you took over for Officer Lepard?
Correct. Who were there on the overnight previous.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying. And when you left that next evening on the 25th at 7 p.m., was there another Duxbury officer who came to relieve you, or who came to relieve you?
No, at that time, State Police Detective McDonald arrived on scene with his crime scene team, and then Plymouth County Sheriff deputies came to take over the hospital watch.
And during that entire shift that you were there, were any attorneys or any other individuals in the room to see Ms. Clancy?
No.
And did you go back to the hospital for any shifts after that day?
No.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Were you in uniform?
Yes.
Had your gun on?
Correct.
Had your badge?
Yes, sir.
The other guy too?
Yes, sir.
You were going to what, guard the woman that was tied to the bed?
Correct.
That's all we have.
Anything?
Nothing further.
All right, thank you, sir. Let me step down.
Thank you.
There goes his side part.
All right.
away from the...
So members of the jury, rather than start another witness for just a couple of minutes, we're going to break, take the afternoon recess at this point. The plan would be to come back approximately 2 o'clock, come right back, resume with the Commonwealth's case. I'll remind you again, you probably know what I'm going to say. No talking about this case. Don't do any research about this. Don't read anything about it. While you're on break, don't go anywhere that has anything to do with this case. Take the next hour. Just kind of put this out of your head. We'll see you. Okay, thank you.
Court, all right. Good. Find yourself a notebook. This, welcome.
Yeah, I think if I had to like describe at this point what overall, like take out Lindsay's specific thing to this and like look at the system of healthcare that's being shown to everybody, I would describe it to people if they wanted to know what it's like here in the States or haven't dealt with like on this level. Go to McDonald's at noon, order a double quarter pound. It has to be the specific meal. Order a double quarter pounder with cheese, large fries, and ice cream, and then come back and tell me what that experience was like. Tell me how that worked out for you. And there you have the healthcare system that we're seeing, right? Okay. Because there's so many things we're learning about that's just like, why couldn't they look at this? Why couldn't they do that? Right? That's the best way to describe it. Go through that experience, and then you'll know exactly what it's like. Like, it's the weirdest thing. They all freaked out when I ordered the double quarter pounder. It's like, well, you're certainly going to have to pull up over that. And then I ordered ice cream and they started crying. They didn't know what to do. Yeah, every McDonald's a franchise, literally, right? Amber, even the fries, go at lunchtime, order fries. As long as the thing about the double quarter pounder is that used to be my meal at McDonald's and they would make us pull up every time. And Matt was like, that's because they make it on, I forget what he said, but it's like they don't just have it sitting there, I think, or a quarter pounder. It's something with a quarter pounder. It's like the double something. He was like, no, they make it right away. So that's why they always ask you. He's like, if you order that, it's a guarantee they're going to make you pull up. And so I was like, okay, now I don't know. That could have changed. It's been so long since I've done that. Because I was always like, why do they always do like my meal is like, no matter what, I always get pulled up. And Matt didn't order that. He's like, because you're ordering that. I'm like, but that's what I want. And then you already know the whole thing with the ice cream thing, right? So you combine those two, please. Order a double quarter pounder milkshake and a McFlurry. Shut the place down. Legit, Donna. Legit. Legit, right? Darlene says, so quarter pounder, you have a plan. You're not viable to be committed. Literally. Oh my gosh, y'all. The rages that there used to be this McDonald's when we lived at the beach, y'all. Oh my God, I can't even get y'all there. You already know, like the beach, North Carolina, insanely busy. We would go through there. It was the most discombobulated place I'd ever seen in my life. You could go through and order water and you would have to wait 20 minutes. I mean, it was like, they'd be like, can you pull up? And you're like, what? I'm being slightly dramatic with that. Nonfiction says they make the burgers fresh in the quarter pounders. And see, that was my favorite thing. And probably because of that. Yeah, see, drive-throughs see me coming. They see me coming. They see it from a mile away and they're just like, they're like, here comes Paul. They start talking to the microphones. They're just like, shh, we've got a spotting of Paul. He is 1.2 miles away. Go ahead and start shutting down all operative things that we need. Yeah, Nancy says trying to get an ice cream cone at the beach in North Carolina is a nightmare. Literally. Okay. So y'all, we're just so what we're doing now is we're waiting for them to come back to say what they're going to say. I'm not going to stream this afternoon. We'll kind of talk for a minute, have a little bit of a decompressing thing like we're doing now. And then we'll meet back up later tonight. And then we'll be back here. Well, hold on. Let me look at my calendar real quick. Hold on. As far as tomorrow goes. Because we might be at the car wash. At the car wash. Okay. We'll be back here at 9 in the morning. Yeah, I haven't if I go to McDonald's, it's either because I'm desperate, and think road trip. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only place to go. And even then, I'll stop the car and go in. At this point, I'm more of I don't go through the drive-through. I just go into the place. Unless now, if it's a coffee drive-through, that's different. But if it's food, and specifically like McDonald's, whatever, oh no, I'm just gonna go in. Yeah, road trip breakfast at McDonald's, that is good. Okay, so maybe they quarters on lunch. Okay, never mind, it's there. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought they did sidebar and then they walked away and I wasn't even looking at the screen. Hold on. Because they're at the sidebar. We didn't get too far. We're at the sidebar. We're gonna drive a car. We're at the sidebar. Wrong thing. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to do this. Okay, there we go. So yeah, there you go. So again, hold on. Thank you everybody for hanging out. Thank you mods for being here. Thank you to the people who sent the mods buy me copies. That was really sweet of you. We have an amazing mod team here. You're always so kind and so nice, and I just love y'all to death. And thank you, Sofa Squad, for being here and hanging out. Y'all are amazing. I just love that we can sit here and have conversations and everybody has different opinions. And, it's for the most part, it's just everybody keeps on going. And then it's major. I love being able to watch about these cases and talk about them with y'all, especially having ones like this. So y'all have a good rest of your day. Now I'm going to say this, if you're kind of new here, I can go ahead and tell you, because I'm not streaming the afternoon, something major is going to happen. Okay. I'm talking next level major, whatever it is. I don't know. Okay. But we're talking next level major will take place. So just know that, it happens every time. Okay. So just be prepared. Right. Also, y'all send. Well, first of all, Audra is recover from her stuff. She's doing better, but she's in recovery. Send her good vibes, and then send Tori good vibes as well. She's gonna have her procedure done tomorrow, so send all the love, prayers, whatever you do, send them that way, please. And yeah, and then I'll see the rest of y'all later tonight at 7:00. We'll talk about a few cases, and this one obviously, and then we'll. The Google results will come out this afternoon. They'll be salacious, right? It'll blow the case wide open, right? I mean, it's something like that. Okay. I mean, it'll just be crazy. Anyways, but that's it. I love y'all. Y'all have a good afternoon. I'll see you here in a few hours. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, don't forget to give the live chat a like if you don't mind, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you like the vibe, go on in and subscribe. This is WSOFA signing off for the day. All right. I'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good afternoon.